say tomorrow morning we get a phone call, and this guy's like, "Hey, this is Jamie. Yeah, wonder if you'd come on the show.
Oh, fuck yeah,
I'd like to talk to you." What would be the first thing you did if you got that phone call?
That was the second thing I said. That was the second thing I said was LLC. I said a lawyer because I'm retain one because I don't know what I need it for yet. I don't have a contract yet, but it's coming down the pike.
One of my biggest problems about the area that we live in is the single biggest employer by far in the county is the federal government.
Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat. With everything going on in this nation, we need some information, and that's why salt need to be stationed in your rotation. With real talking, real topics, real people, real problems. Think we need some help to solve them, and leave it up to Colin and the Donovan, cause that's what's that? Let's get ready.
And just like a red, white, and blue phoenix rising from the ashes of political bipartisanship, we are back to Salt of the Streets podcast.
This is Saturday, July 11th, 1:31 p.m., episode 89.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to the Salt of the Streets podcast, your one and only source for social and political commentary on all the weekly news, pop culture, and sports that you can handle. And the best part about the whole deal, it's all built from the ground up for people like you and me, the everyday normal person. So come down and join us as we discuss life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and continue our endless endeavors to bridge the gap between people and information. As always, we are your hosts. I'm Colin.
I'm Donovan.
And today we are joined, as per the usual, we didn't discuss this at all, by another very special guest, our buddy John. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks for coming out.
It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you.
Today we're going to be talking about all manner of things. We're going to be talking a little COVID-y, there's been a lot of social unrest. We'll be touching on that. We'll be talking about social media censorship.
Wuhan.
And
I'm just kidding. That's not funny.
That'll work its way into the show too, though. And so many other things. So yeah, come down, hang out.
Shit.
Buckle up. It's going to be a ride. So right before we finished off the pre-show, are you all right, man?
Yeah, I'm good.
I filled up your Superman cup. So if you need superheroes, they can help you out.
Justice League.
Yeah, we had an extra long, delicious pre-show, so make sure to go and check that out if you haven't already. But
Quality.
right before we finished up, we were going to start talking about some situation going on at an army base somewhere.
Yes, but before you continue, you can find the pre-shows are live on our Facebook at Salt of the Streets. You can find them afterwards along with the full episode videos on our YouTube at Salt of the Streets. We have our Instagram at Salt of the Streets. Me and Colin, I am at Salt of the Street on Twitter and at alpaca_Donovan on Instagram. He's at Big Red Offie on both those things. It's at John Wheelis on all the shit. We're going to tag him. He's private, so if you want to, you could try, but
You can knock on the door.
this guy's got high standards across the alley, so
A lot of the Book Boy accounts are private, by the way. Sus. Not really.
I was going to say, I don't find that to be the case.
Maybe it's just the ones Chad sends me. Every post Chad sends me on Instagram from all these Book Boy accounts, they're all fucking private when he sends to me. I'm like, dude, you send me this post, and then I got to wait like 24 hours to send this guy a request. He's got to see it, acknowledge me, and then I can see what you send me.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Big boys. My did I ever tell you that I got plates coming?
Really?
Yeah, I got a plate carrier and plates coming.
Nice,
Really?
dude.
What kind?
They're level 4 plates. So
Ceramics or steels or what do you
ceramics.
Nice.
But
Jesus
What's
Christ.
the lifespan on them?
they can. I don't know all the statistics.
Pretty penny away on those, didn't you?
My brother got them for me for my birthday,
Good.
which is in.
He must fucking love you.
He does. Come on
Jesus
now.
Christ.
I want one.
He also is the one that introduced me to hunting.
Nice.
I don't want to give him too many props because I don't want his ego to
Fuck
get
you,
too
Chad.
big. But
Just kidding. Just kidding. I love Chad. He was good when he was on here.
oh, yeah, you'd have fun with it. He's a fun
Yeah,
dude.
no, Chad was a good guy.
Yeah, I like that podcast. That's a good episode.
But yeah, I'm excited because never have plate. I've seen the videos of these plates though. They can take, I think they can take up to a 30-aught or a 308 armor piercing round or
Nice.
something like that. But
Like one time or like 3 times? Or,
I don't know.
That's
I don't
okay.
know. I
It's
don't know.
not
I gotta
just
get all the shit. I know they're level 4, which is supposed to be pretty high up there.
Yeah.
Are you
A
do
lot of
fun
people
things
got-
with it and stuff? Or, like...
I'm gonna put it on and like jog around the yard. You know,
You're gonna have people kick you and stuff. But that's
He's
something
gonna
I
be-
would. If I had a bullet vest, I'd be like, someone has to kick me.
somebody has to do something.
Someone
Come
has
at
to
me,
drop
bro.
kick me.
So I'm not gonna be like, I'm not gonna shoot me.
Have you seen people do that before though?
Yeah, I remember. Actually, there was a story on, I think it was on Facebook or something, maybe a few years ago, about a couple that was all these. They got a 50 caliber Desert Eagle
We
pistol.
just talked about this not that long ago.
And the guy, he held like a dictionary or something like that. It's like, oh, won't do it, and then he blew himself away. But I do follow a lot of guys on YouTube that'll basically shoot like through water jugs and through different shit. And there's a guy that this awesome video. I think you might have sent it to me. I don't remember.
But on that video, actually, the one they just mentioned, didn't that guy die?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It was just like straight up murder.
Yeah, he died. You don't.
There
So
was
the video-
there was people there, like
Do you
they
want to
had
talk about
family
that video real
members
fast?
there.
Yeah,
That was
an
fucking
awful video.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Yeah.
much like
His little
murder
daughter
in
was
front
there.
of
It
like
was
his
terrible.
entire family because
Yeah.
these people were
They're dumb.
just dumb. They got a
dumb.
Desert Eagle, wasn't it?
So
and they
dumb.
had a dictionary, and they're like, "Hey, let's see if this gun can shoot
So
through the
fucking
book."
stupid.
And of course, can through the book.
I could tell you 5,000 other ways to do a cool video without putting yourself. Anyways, regardless, people are dumb.
People
but-
need to educate themselves on
Yeah.
firearms.
Yeah, that's what happens
100%.
when you don't
That's-
have respect for what that tool really is,
Yeah.
especially a tool like that is like
Oh man.
so
Yeah.
powerful.
Watching
So-
that Second Amendment, because I don't think we pimped it on the show, but you suggested to me that I watch the Louderworth Crowder American Masterclass series that he has on his YouTube channel, and they are phenomenal.
Yeah. If
Pop
you-
quiz. I'm gonna put you on the spot, John. Actually, maybe I should put you on the spot because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't want to fuck with John. I like John too much. You know, I can fuck with you a little bit. What are the 5 rights covered under the First Amendment of the Constitution?
Oh, Jesus. It's like the freedom of religion, the freedom of the press, free speech.
The last 2 always fuck me.
Yeah. The right to a peaceful assembly, right? And then the right to petition.
My man.
Fuck with me, my G.
That's why I got you.
I got about 2 of those.
But yeah, that was one of the first videos is on free speech, and they talk about that a lot in the First Amendment. And then the Second Amendment, though, that video,
It's great.
dude, where they talk about like what the founders and all them meant behind for a well organized militia or whatever the specific wording is.
I used
there
to be a
in the
big
Second
Crowder
Amendment.
fan until he kind of, I felt like, because I'm conservative and pretty open about that. A lot of people don't like that I'm conservative. But you know,
Welcome to the area.
that's okay. And I'm okay with that, you know. I'm cool with people's beliefs, but I used to really like Crowder, but I kind of felt like he was kind of leaning too alt-right. But
Yeah,
for
right.
those videos and stuff, I really wanted, like, hearing you guys talk about it, it seems like you guys are pretty educated and learning about that stuff. I
they're
really
great.
want to dig into those, like, as soon as we're done here.
Oh,
That's, like,
they're
one of
great,
that's
yeah.
on the top of my priority list. But on that note, if you guys want to look into that, I just, like, a lot of people, when they hear Crowder, they kind of turn the other way because he is that, like, voice. He is kind of,
Right.
like, he is shadow banned from YouTube and
Oh, yeah.
stuff. So, yeah, if you're looking into educating yourself, I feel like that'd be a good way of doing it.
And
Because
these
these are good resources based on what you said during
Right.
the pre-show.
They're
I feel
great.
like that is actually a
Yeah.
a plausible resource, regardless
Super good.
where you lean politically.
Yeah, these ones in particular, it's done in Crowder fashion. Like he's in like short shorts and stuff. He's dressed up super gimmicky, but he's speaking to actual legitimate historians who have actual documents, historical documents
Oh,
that
man.
are from the founding, from that era,
And they will blow
original
your
documents.
fucking mind.
Yeah, so the people that he's talking to know what they're talking about. They're
Yeah.
educated. They are legitimate. There is no need to I did independent research this morning while watching those videos on that group, on the individuals that he talks to ensure that they're legitimate. They're not just people who love history and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They have a collection of thousands of documents and artifacts that they have
So
studied
cool.
for decades and written books, and they've testified in front of the Supreme Court and in front of Congress, and they help write laws. They help argue Supreme Court cases. These people are, by all measures, legitimate historical resources. And regardless of the way that Stephen Crowder chooses to portray himself in this video, they are 100% legitimate educational pieces that I would show to my son.
Oh yeah.
As soon as he's able to understand, what's going on.
Part of me wishes he would just drop some of the gimmicky comedy stuff because it's
he wouldn't have such a hard time. Yeah, he wouldn't have such a hard time if his
ego kind of gets the best of him too.
Yes.
He does put out a lot of good information. I do definitely like his change my mind videos and stuff. He definitely does.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah, he does put up a good argument.
Yeah.
And,
so Second Amendment. Why did we break into that tangent? We were gonna talk about the woman missing on the army base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's just go there.
Okay.
Let's do that
Because we were gonna open with that.
Vanessa
Guillen.
There we go.
Or I would have said Guillen.
Let me look at me in the face.
But yeah.
Your wife is from another country. There's no reason that you can't pronounce these names. You're gotta help.
Problem.
Come on.
She's clapping. So okay. when I break it down, so this is my thought process when I see like Ghislaine Maxwell. I want to know the origin behind the name because that tells me how I'm supposed to pronounce it. If I would have Vanessa, they could go a couple different ways.
You can say Hispanic Vanessa.
Yeah, you could say
Probably
Vanessa,
does.
And then that would tell me how to pronounce the last name.
You just read in white. That's what you're.
I tried to break it down in English in the manner of which I was taught. And then I tried to add context.
That is very PC of you. I'm just that's good.
No, because I grew up in New Mexico and everybody there has a Hispanic accent. And when I go home, I realize that where my because I don't have an accent anymore. But whenever I talk to my friends back home, even my very Caucasian friends, they still have that Hispanic accent.
Oh yeah.
So when I talk to my friends over the phone, I hear that accent and it does come and go. When I do read things, I'm not too sure if it's Spanish or not. So
right.
I don't know.
I'm just giving you shit.
That's my totally legitimate technicality to get me out of that one.
It is. Yeah. It's I don't like it, but I guess it's fine. So
up until the show, I had no idea this was even a story.
Are you serious?
There's a lot going on, okay?
There's a lot going on.
Give me
this. I feel so maybe I feel like this one just was huge, right? Because she was missing for weeks. Weeks went by where the same people, that are. I'm not even going to do that. I was seeing it consistently. This woman is still missing off of an army base, and no one knows what the fuck happened. And one of the people I saw it most consistently from is a friend that I have that just got out of the army.
Oh, word.
Just got out of the army weeks ago. In April, he got out of the army, right? And
it's a very prominent fort or base.
His take on this was, if she was a rifle, no one would have left until she was found. And she's a person who was missing off of a military base, and it seemed like no one gave a fuck. This guy who's been deployed, he's done his time overseas. He is that's his personal take on it, and there was an awful lot of people that he served with that seemed to agree with him. And I think that that's really, really dark. That there are people who...
But it should not be news to anybody that's in the military.
Right.
Unfortunately.
And that's horrible. It's
awful.
There was no shortage of people down in the comments that were saying oh yeah, bro, if she was a scope, she wouldn't have gone anywhere. If she was a pair of binoculars, no one would have gone anywhere. And it's because that's fucked up.
But even though you're in the military, the government doesn't technically own you.
Right.
It's just you have this weird. They kind of do, but they kind of don't. But it's a weird thing.
But they own all that equipment.
Oh, dude.
And there's more to that. There's a lot more sexual harassment and stuff.
Right.
That goes into with that too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
she was active duty. From my understanding,
on the base. Right? She lived on the base.
Oh wow!
Is the story on there? Is there a story we can?
Yeah, this is from the time. So
I believe this.
Let's go ahead and read it. Vanessa's family had been informed that. It's from Time Magazine. I'm not gonna fuck up the name again. So I'm just gonna call her Vanessa's remains were found identified or have been identified. Here's what to know about the Fort Hood soldier. So Vanessa's family has been informed that she is dead after the Army identified human remains discovered last week as the missing soldier. Her family lawyer said Sunday. So It's that implication tells me that we knew there was a missing soldier. We just didn't know it was her.
Yeah.
Weeks.
Oh wow.
She was missing. And she was missing for weeks, and they didn't know where she was. And then after weeks went by, they're like, "Oh, we found her body in the armory. Someone bludgeoned her to death."
Okay.
Or she, right. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah,
They found
evidence in the armory, right?
So her case sparked national attention after she was allegedly murdered by a fellow soldier at Fort Hood in Texas in April.
Yeah.
So in April. Wow.
And then the dude who killed her too committed suicide before justice could be served.
Apparently then he dismembered her remains?
Him and his girlfriend, right?
And his girlfriend who was actually married.
Yes. Yeah. Right. So him and his girlfriend who was married cut her up, tried to burn her, and then buried her in like multiple locations. And so then when her remains were found, they found evidence in the armory of her having been killed. You know, probably some blood splatters or something. I'm sure that these fucking idiots didn't hide it very well, but
they tried.
Yeah, so she was missing since April.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And before we left
death
here,
with a hammer.
Yeah. And before we left here, I think the mother now is just spoke out against us, and she wants Congress to take a look at it and make it come out.
Dude.
Yeah, because right now it's just under military jurisdiction, so the military's handling all of this. She wants this to go up and above that, and absolutely, we need to get to the bottom of this. This is the command should have definitely taken charge of this before this got out of hand. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
This just doesn't kind of happen up and nowhere out.
And it's not like there is any shortage of investigative resources within the military. You know, it's not like they couldn't figure this out.
They will find you.
You know,
100%.
They will fucking find you. If they can find them in a goddamn, cave, they can find you buried in a hole not far from where you were actively serving in that very military, Did
I tell you about the story that the guy on the boat that I was on got locked up because he used to work at NASA and was had this racket with some people where they were stealing shit from NASA, selling it. He was like a security guard at the time and selling it online and shit, and then joined the military, got on, and then they didn't even figure out who it was until he was in for 2 years. And they showed up one day. Yep, Fed showed up one day, fucking got him, and he went to jail. The kind where you make big rocks into little rocks jail.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that was years after the fact. So they will fucking find somebody.
Yeah.
So that's just, I mean,
there's questions that aren't answered yet, and the public needs to find out.
Well, unfortunately, the guy killed himself, so there's a whole side of that we cannot know. I mean, obviously there's information that can be derived from his girlfriend, his married girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, but that's only going to provide you with so much, you know?
At this point, all you're going to be able to do is get enough info to try to find closure.
And
probably.
That command needs to be held accountable for that. That's what I'm saying.
And full justice cannot be served since half of the parties involved, or part of the parties involved, because I believe that the command did not have, obviously, part in her murder, but in it taking this long, in not being able to find out, because it just happened when they're going to get him that he killed himself. He finds out that they're going to come and get him, and he kills himself. And, I mean, in this matter of weeks, I have a hard time believing there was no way of, I
will say, from my recollection, at least, the military has a really hard time with domestic abuse. I mean, it's very, very prevalent, and there's only so much you can do. It's hard to know that's going on, obviously, and then there's this weird subculture of pressure that it's a weird situation. So I almost wouldn't fault the command morally for not knowing what's going on, but I understand how the system works, and they need to be held accountable because that was allowed to happen on their fucking watch.
Let me throw this at you. My Aunt Jo, who died in the time that we were doing this podcast, she was a domestic violence advocate on the Joint Base. And the Joint Base, I believe, at the time had the highest rate of domestic violence of any military base.
Would not surprise me.
It happens, she met consistent resistance in her attempts to advocate for these women or these people who were victims of domestic violence. Consistent resistance.
That's
a very, very hard job
Yeah.
when she was working there.
I can't even imagine, because it's very complicated. But much like how there's a lot of abuse in, say, law enforcement in that industry, I think there's certain aspects of certain industries, even like the industry of working in the military, that are not exactly conducive to being married, being basically in a healthy relationship with almost anybody at that point. Because most of the time you're not necessarily in a good relationship with yourself or the world or much, because it's a tough life.
Which
it really is.
That's the hard truth of it.
Yeah,
honestly,
it really is.
It's hard to admit, but it's not easy having a family in the military.
No,
and it's the hard truth. And I know a lot of my friends that are active duty and stuff, and they have families, and it's a sacrifice. But like heroes do deserve families and stuff as well.
And let's just be super clear for a second, just for everyone listening, so as to protect ourselves. That in no way justifies those things happening, because it's a hard position to be in. I know what you mean, but just because of the way the internet is, it in no way justifies those actions, but it helps to understand why those things happen. But it does, and in no way justifies those things taking place.
Something I noticed in the veteran community, a lot of my friends are doing, are like that they feel like they're taking responsibility on her murder. They're like, "Hey, we have failed you. You." Because I do kind of, as a veteran, I feel like if I was on watch and something like that happened, I do feel a sense of responsibility. Like, we did fail her. The whole military did fail her. This did.
That happens.
It happens.
Every time somebody gets locked up for something stupid and gets drum rolled out, everybody feels guilty, because everybody on the unit goes, "Fuck, man, I could have, we didn't, maybe I could have told them we didn't have to go out that night," or whatever. Or
absolutely.
There's so much. It's a very complicated lifestyle.
Yeah.
That most
and that's
people
why we have bystander
don't understand.
intervention. And it's important. And that should be taken absolutely serious. And that's what I feel like this is going to come to. Like, someone's going to speak out and be like, "Hey, this has been going on, and this. And hopefully it'll get investigated, and, there will be.
Yeah. Well, and I think that
answered.
From what I understand, right, I've never been in the military, so I want your guys' opinion on this, but from what I understand, right, there is, in a lot of ways in the military, just like in being a police officer, there's a brotherhood, and if, in a lot of cases, if you go against that by reporting someone for something you've seen that you don't agree with, there can be a lot of negative repercussions to that are a deterrent for a lot of people in reporting things like that. And we just saw earlier this week, there was a cop who was fired after he blew the whistle on two of his coworkers that choked a guy out in the back seat, right? We see those things happen. Do you guys feel that to be the case in the military? I mean, I don't know if you've experienced that, but
It's weird. I will say that.
It's hard to get to the bottom of justice, like, especially in the military. I mean, like, we see just the most recent case of, who's that SEAL that just got released?
Oh, Eddie Gallagher.
The Eddie Gallagher case. That's a good thing. Like, he was being trialed for awful war crimes and stuff, and everything went through, and he's pretty much held in prison for, like, more than a year, I think, for crimes that he did not commit. And essentially the evidence came out and he didn't commit any of the crimes. And there's these other SEALs on this team that pretty much didn't like him, had a kind of a beef with him. And this man who isn't guilty of anything was put in prison unjustifiably for a good time span.
Not guilty of anything, or maybe not so
he wasn't
much
guilty of what he was told that he was.
Because we talked about this. He had done some kind of fucked up shit.
Yeah, he took pictures with the body.
Yeah, so really at the end of the day, what that conversation comes down to is it anything that anybody else wouldn't have done if they weren't in the same spot?
Well, and I would have to do more research, because since we talked about it, I have not looked more into it. But I remember at the time there was talk of him having taken that person's life that he took the picture with, and then he did an interview on 60 Minutes, and they talked about the knife that he had in that picture that he used to kill that kid.
He didn't kill him.
No. His friend came out, like someone else came out and said that he had killed him.
Yeah, that wasn't the case at all. So
but
that
still
knife,
with the pictures and things. That's why there was the conversation about whether or not he still lose his anchor or not. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
President
And like I said, I would have to. That's the last time I looked anything into it was when we talked about it.
And as we talk about it now,
That was
it's all
before
starting
you
to come
even
back.
moved. Yeah. So
I'm like,
so
okay,
that's
yeah.
I have not looked any more into it since then. So
I listened to him on the Mike Ritland podcast, the Mike Drop podcast, and that's what he was saying. And that knife that they brought up, actually, there was a point where someone said that he tried to auction off the murder weapon, and it was the knife that they're auctioning off was a knife made by another former SEAL, Half-Face Blades, and they're auctioning it off for the Navy SEAL Foundation. And one of the SEALs that were saying, like Eddie, was saying that knife that they're trying to auction off is the knife that they used, the murder weapon. So they got hold of the knife. Apparently, and there's like no traces of blood on there. There's no traces of blood on any of his equipment, and nothing added up. Word. And apparently, the SEAL that was trying to tell everyone that he did these crimes, apparently, like in court, forgot everything and went into like a weird panic and didn't remember anything. So that's what he said on that podcast, and I'm paraphrasing that.
yeah, no, absolutely.
But based on what I remember, that's what essentially happened.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
But yeah, so.
Yeah, and I certainly don't not believe you. I just wanted to make sure that I qualified that. That was the last time I looked into it. And that was like months ago. That was before they moved in here. I don't know when you guys moved in here, but fucking forever ago.
Yeah, it was like around the New Year-ish.
Yeah, so at least 6 months. So yeah, no, I can't even. But it's a whole different world, you know. And like I said, I've never been in the military. I've always been extremely interested, and I've read a lot of just military books, you know, personal accounts and stuff like that, military history books. I find it extremely interesting, you know, documentaries, all that type of stuff. And it's from pretty much every account, you know, it's a completely different world.
Yeah.
It is a whole different world that exists within and next to and around the regular civilian life, you know. And
let's just put it this way. When you, through signing a series of papers, you actually give up all of your inalienable rights and sign up for a whole new set that is very fucking limited.
Much more limited, yeah.
It breeds an entire, not just a different culture, but an entire different society within that. And it's 100%.
And you're volunteering for that.
Yeah.
That's what you need to remember. Hey,
I'm in. And so you're volunteering for basically a dictatorial rule, an authoritarian system to live under this. Everything you get is because daddy tells you that you can have that or not, or you can live there, you can't live there, everything. So it's a totally different, weird lifestyle. But I got this BBC article up here from Gallagher, and it's talking about, the multiple charges, the him killing the boy with the knife, and blah, blah, blah. And I can't remember. Sean says it was fabricated, the account. Yeah, because there's another guy, I think, that came forward and essentially confessed to the knife killing.
Said that he did it?
Yeah.
Not Eddie Gallagher?
Yeah. I think I remember in the podcast he said he was actually trying to, don't quote me on this, but I think I remember he was saying he was trying to save him. And because he was also a corpsman at the time, and he was also going to try to train someone else on how to do it, but it didn't look so good. And they're just trying to do the best that they could. And eventually they're like, hey, we can't really do anything.
Yeah.
And then
the big thing was
took the picture.
He took a picture of it.
Yeah.
That's really what it was. There we go. Now it's all starting to fall back together a little bit.
And so let's take a second on that, right? Yeah. We can just discuss it for a moment. And if that is the case, right, if it's just the fact that he took a picture with a dead body of a Taliban fighter, right? Because that's the reality of the situation, right? It was confirmed Taliban fighter. So if that is the case, right, then what we're really talking about is just like a questionable decision, right? Of whether or not morally you think that's okay, morally he thinks that's okay, you know? And
because that was the discussion of should you keep his trident or not.
Right. And certainly
anchors earlier, I meant trident.
Certainly everyone is allowed to have their own opinion, you know, but whether or not your opinion holds serious weight, depends on how well you understand being in that situation, whether that's someone like myself who knows a lot of people in the military, discusses it, or whether you've been in that situation. I don't know that, I don't even think I have a slight understanding of what being in that situation is like. First of all, being in an active military zone, in an active war zone. Second of all, being a SEAL who is just repeatedly putting their life on the line to do things that they'll likely never, ever, ever be able to talk about.
You just constantly live in some of the shittiest places on earth while people are trying to murder you.
And it's the same type of thing that you were talking about with domestic violence. I don't necessarily think that that's a great thing, and I don't think that what he has been through necessarily justifies that, because I don't think that it's morally right. Mm-hmm. But I also understand how in that situation you could find yourself in that mindset where that's where you're at. It's the same deal from every single military vet I've ever spoken to, especially ones that have done combat tours. They have spoken extensively about how dark and twisted the military humor is, how fucked up it is simply for the way for them to deal with and cope with everything that they're experiencing, so having that knowledge, like I said, I understand, but do not condone that behavior.
Kind of like what I meant by when I was talking about the base commander at Fort Hood.
Right.
I understand that at the end of the day, he's just a dude riding a desk, and he's probably looking towards retirement at this point, or he's just trying to hold a command so he can get an advancement or something. Like, I can understand it, but it still doesn't excuse it at that point. I get it, but you still
someone needs to be held accountable for these actions that have been taken.
Yeah, and so we, just to bring it full circle, we started talking about Vanessa because you had asked about her at the end of the pre-show, and I had said, I just hadn't really spoken about it because there was such limited information available.
Yeah, it seems like it's pretty in the dark still.
And that's part of the story, is that it's been since April that she's been missing, and all we know is that she was murdered and tried to be burned and dismembered. That's all that we know.
And allegedly sexually assaulted.
Right. So
probably.
Likely, which certainly would, like you said, play into her having gone missing for an extended period of time and no one really giving a shit. I mean, that's
adultery in the military is illegal.
It's a crime. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people get kicked out for that.
You will get hemmed up and then kicked out. That is a real thing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That shit's real. That's
one of those rights that you were talking about. And when you're not in the military, you can cheat on your wife if you want to. It's still not cool, obviously not,
you're not gonna
morally,
get locked in the cage.
Morally reprehensible, right? But you won't go to jail for it. You might lose a bunch of money if your wife divorces you, takes all your shit, but
No, adultery in the military?
I'm saying it's not like when you're in the military. When you're a civilian.
My bad. I thought you said when you're in the military. I was no, you'll.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is it's not like that. Like when you're in the military. Yeah,
if you're in the military, go to that big boy jail, make big rocks into little rocks. If you do that,
right? I've
seen it happen more than once. And on top of that, the military in general, and I'm sure I'm not just picking on that. I don't want to say industry, but that group of society, right? But they have a severe problem with sexual assault, and always have.
Yeah.
Ever since the implementation of women into the military and stuff like that, it's always been a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot going on there.
We need to start looking for solutions. I feel like there's a conversation needs to be had. Commands need to start finding solutions and finding ways to
even when I was in
this,
we had training on that. Once every 6 months, mandatory.
The SAPR training, and that's good. Yep. I feel like it needs to be put out there.
It is,
and that's the kind of movement we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah,
and there's definitely been a lot of progress. There's definitely room for improvement.
Oh yeah,
but there has been progress, but still there.
And culturally, even I could feel at the end there was kind of this. If you had because at a unit, if you're in a unit with a female, you cannot be in a relationship with that female. Period. Right? It's just because you're at a unit. You can't do that together. You can't fraternize with people at the unit. And so a lot of guys, especially the married guys, would take a lot of the single girls kind of, if they were over 21, they want to go out and have fun, they'd go hang out with a bunch of the married guys because for the most part, married guys, they kind of adopt this kind of like big brother, little sister thing going on. Or it's like, you watch out for your people, you watch out for your shipmates, you watch out for your...
Absolutely. That's the way it should be.
And because it holds for everyone, right? But it's like, it's even more on that level because you're in civvies, but you're still out and about and you're in town and stuff. So you're just watching out for people. And that culture, just from the time that I got in to the time that I got out, had grown exponentially. And so that's good. But it's still a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're definitely, it's, not to continue to relate it to cops, but they're paralleled in many ways.
I think
but
so. Yeah.
It's the same idea of like, you need more people who are looking to change the mentality within that department, within that industry, like you said, within that occupation,
and how do you do that? By acting it out in your own life.
Right.
So, if you see somebody that you work with going down a bad path like that, you try to say something.
Correct them on it. Yeah.
So on that note of cops, man, freaking on that note, Seattle, did you see that? Like I saw today, I think it was 7 of the 9 city councilmen want to defund the police by 50%.
There was, a
police.
veto-proof majority, right, in the city council.
I was hoping you could tell me more about that.
I had not done research into it. I had saw it.
Yeah.
I had seen it. I saw that shit. I had seen it, and I hadn't because I just saw it this morning.
Yeah, me too.
And I try not to, this is not a bad thing at all, but just so that I can, thank you, honey, so that I can provide good information. I try not to talk extensively too much about stuff that happens that day because I can only do so much research. I don't have any problem talking about it, but
that's the news for you, man. Every day, man. I feel like every day I click in the morning, my God, like what's going on now?
Yeah. Yep. And we have seen that same thing happen, I believe, in Minneapolis, right? That they had a veto-proof majority of their city council that voted to like
50%.
completely defund the police.
Seattle, anyway.
In New York, we saw, $1 billion taken out of their budget that we've already seen come into
$1 billion.
So it's like a $60-something billion budget.
That is a very touchy topic, man.
Well, so let's fucking get into it, right? Yeah. So let's just start here. So
this is part of the cultural unrest.
The $1 billion that we've seen come out of the New York City Police Department came largely in the form of plainclothes police officers that are no longer on the streets, whose primary or largely one of their larger functions was to get illegal firearms off of the streets of New York City, which we know, because you fucking live there, are crime-ridden.
I fucking got held up by some of those plainclothes cops one night on a date. Because they thought we were dealing drugs or some shit.
Really?
Plainclothes New York, because we were just close enough that we'd crossed into the city lines. So they were fucking NYPD cops, plainclothes.
So
rolled up on me.
And what clothes?
It all
plain clothes. It was, like just
plain
not
clothes.
a uniform?
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they didn't even pull their badges out till right when they're at my window. After they started knocking and shit, I'm like, oh, great, I'm going to die tonight. Sweet. It was nice meeting you. We're both going to die.
In New York?
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah. And then it turns out, like, she was an EMT, I was in the Coast Guard, so we ended up, like, de-escalated.
So it's not a perfect system. It's not a perfect system. Because you see our co-host here, obviously not a drug dealer. Anyway.
But in the end, how was your customer service with the police?
After that, it was fine. We just had to move. They told us to get the fuck out because it was a bad area, and I was like I'm not going to argue with you at this point.
I've been kind of talking about
I'm just
going to go. Too. Like every time, like when you've been like had an experience with the police, like how is your experience with the police? Like most of mine have been positive. Like at the end, like it's been really respectful. Like, and I'm asking like just all my friends, like how did it handle?
I have personally never had a positive experience with a police officer.
Really,
not one time. No, the first time I got pulled over, I didn't have a license, and I'm not saying I didn't do anything wrong, but having committed a crime should not automatically subject me to being treated like a fucking piece of shit.
That is true.
Especially at 17 years old,
Criminals are people too.
So what I'm saying, not that I wasn't doing something wrong, I was, but I shouldn't be treated like an asshole because I was fucking driving without a license, So
part of the problem.
No, he was super aggressive and just was very rude, and I was trying to I'm not, this isn't an excuse because I obviously should not be driving without a license. Like, I went to school, I'm going home, like, this is what I'm doing. Threatened to impound the car, was like my girlfriend's car at the time. He took a picture of me while I was trying to talk because I didn't have a license, and, it was not good. And then the second time that I got pulled over, I was getting my license and I had gone and taken the test, and I thought, the way that it was explained to me, I thought that I had a permit, but I didn't, right? And so I was driving with Jordan in the car. She had a license. I was like 18 years old. I thought that I had a permit. I thought that's how that worked. And when I got pulled over, I told the cop, I was like, yeah, I have my permit. Like, I just don't have my license yet. And so then he went back to his car and he came back. He was like, so do you want to try and tell me the truth? I was like, whoa. I was like, I'm not lying. And I understand obviously why he would think that I'm lying, but I did not know that I did not have a fucking driver's permit. I already got in trouble for this exact same thing like fucking 2 years ago. So,
like, bro, I'm not trying to read.
And there was a negative interaction then
as
well. Yeah, no, I've not had particularly positive.
You feel like he could have handled that situation better, is what you're saying?
Certainly.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like that's what the police force needs to start doing, is being like, hey, like, we need to start, like, handling these situations better.
Especially the first time I was a kid.
There needs to be a customer service, like when I feel like when you see the cops, you should feel comfortable. You should be like, okay, that's the good guy.
And
I don't, there's times I don't feel that. In New Mexico, I legitimately had that feeling because of my good experiences with police. When I saw the cops, I'd be like, hey, it's a sheriff. This is awesome. I'm safe right now. I'd have that comfortable feeling just because of my experiences. But when someone like you, not having a positive experience, you don't have that same comfort feeling.
Yeah. Or a lifelong of only bad experiences.
Yeah.
And I've worked with a lot of cops over the years. Like, being in the Coast Guard, we work hand in hand with, like, a lot of cops that are in their Marine division that might launch boats out of the same place.
Yeah.
Got to know them. Great guys that any cop I've ever met.
Yeah.
You know, we got Officer Brian.
Officer Brian.
Yeah.
I've only had good experience with Officer Brian.
Most cops, we can all agree, I feel like they join the force for a good reason. They want to help the community, right?
But
and right now, we have a culture right now that's really against that.
Yes.
And wants to tear that down, or just like anti-cop, and it just, that hurts my heart.
There's something in the system that is not working.
Yeah.
Because I have, as far as being on the receiving end of justice, right? Getting tickets or whatever the fuck, or dealing with the cop that pulled me over. Nothing but hands down terrible, terrible human experiences, right? Where it's like, one dude, I just thought I just pissed in his Wheaties, because I kind of did, because he was kind of pissing me off too, but that's a whole other story. But it's like, most of the time, like, I've been approached with this sense of like, you are a bad person, and I am the law here to tell you you're a bad person and to give you a receipt that you have to pay now because you're a bad person. You should never interact with a cop on that level. It should never get to that level unless it is warranted, I would assume. But like, and I get it, the whole like the pullover culture, like you never know what's going to be behind there. Cops die all the time, getting blown away right out of the window. Like, I get that. But at the same time, after an initial contact, you got to understand immediately whether this person you got to have something in the back of your head. So this dude, I don't know. Or, all right, this guy's cool. He's just fucking cruising to work and his taillight's out. I don't have to be a dick, man. Hey, bro, maybe I could, as a police officer, be remorseful that I have to now economically, like, punish you because you, at 5 o'clock in the morning, went out, started your car, didn't bother to look and check if your taillights were out before you left, and then left to go to work.
Yeah, like, I feel like, and some cops, they're human beings and see that, like, from my experience, like, my mom's, like, taillight's been out before, and, like, cops have pulled it over and be like, hey, get this fixed, okay? And my mom's like, okay, bye. And just, like, taken off and, like, never got it fixed. But still, like, they're, like, human about it. They understand, like, it's a busy mom and stuff. Right. And, like, that's why I feel like they're public servants. They should be there to help you. And I've seen cops change people's tires. I've seen cops, help people out and stuff, and that's the way it should be.
Buy people gas and groceries and shit.
Yeah, buy people freaking
that's the thing.
Booster seats and stuff for their in their
See, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I feel like people forget that. Like, cops do great things because we're in a culture right now that focuses only on the negative narrative. And it's destroying, I feel like, the fabric of this nation.
So I kind of wonder on that point, we talk about the social implications of what builds that narrative? How do we get there? How are we telling these stories about like the bad cops and all this shit?
Yeah.
I mean, could it be a more, dare I say, quote unquote, systemic problem where like part of the problem these cops are all, the way they are is because we have this weird, convoluted, multi-layer system of these laws that just are so convoluted. Like anybody can get you for almost anything, depending on what you're doing or whatever. Yeah. It's like once they get you, it's like, our cops like. I wonder if that messes with their mentality at all to approach every situation in like a layered. Like, this isn't just me looking out for the community now. Now I got to make sure. Okay, well, I know I have to write this ticket today, regardless of what happens, because of X reason or whatever X force that I feel like is now I'm required to do this or whatever. But maybe it's not so much with the cops. It's maybe how law enforcement is enforcing laws that we have on the books.
Well, to that point, there are no shortage of people who get arrested for nothing less than resisting arrest.
Yes.
Right? Which indicates your only crime was being too confrontational, too aggressive with the police officer who was trying to find out if you had done something initially. And
why
you
is
didn't.
that? And why are people that way? Because I feel like they're afraid. And it is scary.
Because people are afraid, because the cops are afraid. It
is a scary time right now. It is scary, and I can understand. If we're going home right now and we got pulled over, I'd be in the backseat and I'd be scared.
I carry a firearm every day. It's terrifying. So check this. Since I got a license, haven't been pulled over even once, which is fucking weird, right? But
it's real weird.
But especially since I carry a gun, it's something I think about all the time. That's something.
Yeah, and you carry it legally.
I've heard a lot of people who have fucking there's the one kid that I bitch about all the time that's, got all the guns and stuff. And he was posted on his social media that he got pulled over on his way to the woods to go and shoot. So he's got his rifles, all the shit just out in the car.
Oh, man.
And he's a white kid with his other white friend. Like,
that is
maybe
not
a little bit
time
brown.
to get pulled over.
Told the cop, he's like, have all this stuff. I have my permanent stuff. Cop said, okay, don't point anything at me. I won't point anything at you. So this sheriff is comfortable enough and aware in his surroundings that he's like, I'm not worried about this. There are other cops who would immediately draw if they walked up on that car. And I don't know what the difference is in their experience or their mentality.
And those are poorly trained officers.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And I feel like, and now that we're defunding the police, now we're taking away from that funding. Like, I feel like now we should put funding into the police right now. Now that I'm saying this, I'm not justifying what those police did. I'm not justifying police brutality.
Right.
All right. I'm still very against that, but I don't feel like right now is the time to defund the police. I feel like right now they need more training, and that's my own personal opinion. And right now in Seattle, they're trying to cut the funding by 50%. Yeah. And then even the Seattle police sheriff, Sheriff Best, she's saying that, like, hey, this isn't going to do any good. Like, we cannot base this idea.
Carmen Best.
Yeah, Carmen Best. She's saying we cannot base this idea if we get rid of the police that crime rates are going to go down. We can't base, that's the idea. Like, hey, if we get rid of the police, the crime rates are going to go down. Well, that is not the case. But, like, I feel like we just kind of saw what would happen if that is the case in CHOP or whatever it's called in that city, that little place.
The Jazz Chop.
Yeah. We see that there's a lot of people, there's a lot of bad shit that went down,
6
and
people
police
in 10 days that were shot, 2 people killed.
And police and law enforcement couldn't get there and
kids.
do their job. And if they could have done their job, a life could have been saved. And that's something we need to realize and be adults. And people are mad at me for saying that. They're like, oh no, you're just an asshole.
Certainly we understand that. We here at Salt of the Streets represent a generally, I don't want to say underappreciated, because that doesn't, I don't want to oversell what we have to offer, but, or like what we're saying, but there are a lot of people who don't particularly like what we have to say at this time.
True.
And we talk about that consistently, to the point of reducing the budget in Seattle in particular, right? The Seattle Police Department,
$409 million a year.
409 or 490?
409.
Word. So, to that point, Seattle in particular, just in the time that I have been a conscious human being, has had a horrible record with police brutality, especially coinciding, however it is statistically, with minorities. So, to your point, I think the thing that seems to have improved that is greater training for those officers, de-escalation training, because to your other point of the negative interactions, I believe it is at least 80% whatever. It is largely on the police officer to de-escalate that situation so that it does not come into a situation where someone dies on either side, right? And it concerns me greatly. And we've said before on the show exactly what you said, that taking money out of these places, especially places like Seattle, like Minneapolis, that have a history of these problems, taking money out of there, I don't know is going to solve this problem. If they don't have the opportunity, and I'm not saying it's not a good idea to reallocate some of the money, because maybe there are better places for that money to go, but to reduce the amount of training available for these police officers strictly by cutting the budget, I don't think is a good idea, right? I think that even if you are going to reallocate some of the money, maybe don't buy any more military vehicles. Maybe don't buy any more, old military equipment, right? Maybe sell some of that shit, use that money, reallocate that toward these other social services, but also increase the budget that you're going to take away. Like, don't take away all of it so you can increase the amount of training that is provided for these police officers.
And I feel like that's a fair thing to say. I feel like we don't need to militarize the police.
Not at all.
Yeah, that's why we have a military. That's why we have a National Guard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There are a series of just well-known cases that you could name that you could attribute the negative outcome to a militarized police force, a militarized federal police force, Waco, Ruby Ridge. There are many of them, right? And I agree largely.
But like, put yourself in the position of like the law enforcement right now in Seattle. Just imagine yourself. Let's say if you are law enforcement and now you just found
or
out
in
you
Portland,
cut 50%,
right?
That close to being one of them.
Yeah.
Well, let's use Portland, right? Because while there isn't a Chaz or a Chop in Portland, I don't know if you've seen it, but in Portland there is like 30 days of straight protests, of straight riots, right? It's we can show you some videos that Andy
just pull up the Andy No.
Yeah, I'll pull that up. But they have been trying to destroy the federal courthouse in Portland. Antifa is there. I mean, protesters just all clad in black and face masks. They're lighting fires. There are laser pointers they're putting in the eyes of the U.S. Marshals. There are fireworks, mortars they're throwing at the building.
Yeah, and at that point, I'm not going to call them protesters.
And that's why I correct myself. It's a riot. It's not protests.
Yeah. So, you got the Andy No pulled up there.
Let's see.
You seen the video of the dude that got hit by the firework that went off right next to him? The little Antifa dude at the city hall.
They're trying to break into.
Oh man! So we're just watching like
these are
riots. And stuff.
These are off of Andy No's Twitter, and I actually got into someone with it about Andy No earlier this week.
Yeah. You know, and I have friends and stuff that look at this stuff and they look at this rioting and they think that that's justice and stuff. And no one can give me a clear, like, answer on how that does any good. Like, I am for the protests and stuff, and I feel like there's a lot of changes and stuff that's coming from that. But this rioting and stuff, like, I don't feel like there's, and this vandalism.
No, it's because at this point you can't argue for it because it is purely an emotional outburst.
Exactly.
And whether or not
woke culture, man.
Well, let's just say culture. Because with Antifa, it gets a little bit more different because they've been kind of waiting and planning for these kinds of openings to come in.
Yeah,
and they're so loosely affiliated. It's hard to say that it's like a one entity thing, but realistically, all the reactions that are happening are all based off of emotional response to to a grave injustice that you feel inside. Right or wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like people, we do things because it makes us feel good. Like the idea of like, I'm going to do all this because it's my emotional knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
And that just shows like...
It's made by the police, this video. So this is obviously only going to be the worst of it because it's a video made by the police in Portland. But this is a compilation of video footage of the riots. Yeah, so there's, there are all these...
That's awful. So I'm pretty sure you guys are like, everyone that's watching this or like listening to this, I'm pretty sure you've done your fair share of like digging into some of these rioting videos. And if you haven't, you should. And this is what's happening in our country. And I feel like we need to be aware of this. And it's terrifying. Like, and then there's that couple where was that?
Yup. Missouri.
Yeah, St. Louis, right? Is that what it was?
I think it's St. Louis, Missouri.
They are turning into a giant like meme laugh out. And a lot of my friends are guilty of this, like laughing at them, calling that lady a bitch and stuff and making fun of her. And in my head, those people are just trying to protect their property.
These are
guys.
weapons that...
Yeah.
Like, why is this a laughing matter? I don't understand.
I'll tell you why it's a laughing matter.
Tell me.
It's because they've become... Because visually, it is 100% meme-worthy.
Yeah.
Right? Like that right there, that picture right there, the picture that's going around everywhere is so...
It is extremely meme-worthy.
It's fucking hilarious. On its own.
The way that they're dressed, and then also the fact that she has her finger on the trigger of the gun.
I don't agree with what she's doing.
It's a whole slew of stupidity. Yeah.
Absolutely. But like the idea behind it, I feel like these people are defending their property. I understand what they did was stupid, but I don't like the idea these people are now made fun of like into a laughing stock. Like she should have been a little more educated on handling.
Well, they muzzled each other both like numerous times.
That was stupid.
Poor gun handling. But
I think
there is there's no arguments about like those people should not be using firearms. They have the absolute right to have them, but they also have the responsibility to know how they work, right?
Yes.
So anyways, but how do you feel about the fact that the police department got a warrant to go in and confiscate that guy's rifle? And I think they were going to take the pistol, but she had already given it up to their lawyer.
Huh.
And I just started looking at it before the show. I said, well, does Missouri have red flag laws or something like that? Because that might be a thing that might pop up. No. They have a red safety. They have a red flag law that hit the Senate on June 9th of 2020, but it was their second read into committee at that point. So it's not the law. There's no red flag law there.
Oh yeah, and I don't condone to what they did. I also want to put that out.
Well, right.
They did, the way they handled the situation was stupid. But still, the fact that like what they were doing, the way they handled it was not the right way.
Right.
But what they were doing, I feel like was okay.
Well, especially it's
protecting their own private property.
To answer your question, it's concerning because I want to talk about that. I want to answer the question first. It is concerning to me deeply. To my core that their weapons are being taken away. It seems to be because of public pressure.
That's what I'm saying.
Especially when there continues to be protesters on the verge of rioters standing outside of the same neighborhood, outside of their home, screaming at them, taunting them, threatening them.
And you said there is no red flag laws?
Not one on the books yet.
One in the books, but I will say
that would definitely be a red flag.
By that man's own account, whatever his name is, they're receiving death threats. That's happening all the time.
Oh, they've been totally... I mean, it's like Docs 2.0.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And she's a lawyer.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he was tied up somewhere in there. Like, these people...
I think they're both lawyers, aren't they?
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, in that kind of pink polo like that, you gotta be a lawyer, bro.
As far as the way
they have a giant iron gate to get into your property,
right.
They
Come
destroyed.
on. As far as the way they conducted themselves, right? So let's tell the whole story because there's a lot of people who don't, and it takes about 5 fucking seconds, right?
Yeah.
These two people, whatever their names are, they live inside of a gated neighborhood, which is a private neighborhood, right? If you don't live there or you're not a guest, you're not supposed to be there. That's what that means in America. It's a private neighborhood, right?
I just built one of those neighborhoods.
With a gate where you have to have a key and everything, right? Excuse me. The gate, at this point, it's not clear how it was opened, right? At first, by all accounts, it was not broken down in the beginning, but by the time the night was over, the gates were broken down, right?
Yeah.
However they were accessed, the gates were open to a private neighborhood. On the way to the mayor's house, I think, they were going somewhere else. Like, this was a pathway to a greater location. As this man and his wife were having dinner outside of their house on the patio, they saw these protesters coming into the neighborhood to their private entrance. They say that they were already verbally accosted, when they were sitting outside having dinner. So because they felt threatened, they went and they got their guns, this AR-15 and this pistol, and they stood outside of their home, brandished them, and the protesters say they feel very threatened. It's really funny because the first video, the people in the video are like, this is a public sidewalk. And it's like, well, but it's not because you're in this private residence.
Yeah,
and I don't
understand where you're at.
Again,
I don't. When we get to that argument, when you bring that argument to people that are like, oh, what they did was like that, are like pro
it's
that, like
legally justified.
Like, oh yeah,
like
it's private property.
Yeah,
like they get like this attitude, like sure, and it's like, are you serious? Are you neglecting that is like a fact that is private property?
And
I'm pretty well versed in
property laws.
In property laws, because it's kind of what I do for a fucking living, and I can tell you right now,
I take that serious. Yeah,
like it's kind of weird, but
it should be taken serious.
Private property may not be their direct private property. It's probably owned by the homeowners association, but it's still private property. No entrance allowed. You're trespassing instantly.
Yeah. And so when I agree, I do not condone the way that they went about this. However, I do understand why they did what they did. Yeah. And when I was talking to Jordan about it, I said, I don't know that I would take the AR outside with me at that time. So that I would definitely be inside of the door. So that, like if I didn't take it outside, it would be inside of the door, and I would definitely have my pistol in my pants. I would certainly not go out there unarmed, but I would not do something that I or they would feel would instigate some type of aggression.
Okay, so pause button. You're going out there appearing to be unarmed. Just concealing your... That way you're safe.
Correct.
But you don't want to do the officer presence. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I would probably untuck my shirt, so that I could just put it over my gun,
Like keep the shirt tucked.
So you're going to go solve this at the lowest level.
I might even just put it in the small of my back if I'm standing with my back to my house, because who fucking knows anyway. But either way, I would appear
he could
to be
attempted to de-escalate that situation. He could have been like, "Hey, private property,
observe
get
what's
out.
happening, and if someone comes onto my property, onto my actual lawn, and say you need to leave my property right now, and if they continue to advance, that would be a time in which I would surely draw my weapon and say you need to get the fuck off of my property now."
I mean, however, also let's think about this.
While Jordan stands inside with the AR, just waiting for the.
I feel like it's easier for us to say, but like when you are like an older couple and you're in your home and you see like, I guess like a few hundred people gather out in front of your house, it's scary. Let's pretend we live somewhere where there's a museum nearby, and let's say there's a riot and they want to take out the museum. Let's say worst case scenario, and there's a riot in our neighborhood and people are like going through our neighborhood. Let's think of that awful situation that perfect storm, like this awful thing happens in your neighborhood. It is a scary situation. Yeah. And I pray that never happens to someone, but that's happening. That's happened in Seattle. There's people that are living over there and like Chad or Chops, whatever it's called.
Chaz Chap.
Yeah. Chaz Chap. I refuse to let go of the Chaz.
Yeah.
That's why.
It's a way cooler name.
Can you imagine
Chaz
like living in an apartment out there and looking down and seeing that happen?
Yeah, fuck that.
Nope. Can you imagine that? You feel like you're being, there's like people saying that they feel like they're being held hostage in their own homes.
A lot of people,
that is
a lot
awful.
of mixed opinions on the Chaz when it was still around. A lot of mixed opinions. Oh, yeah. Some people, and by the end, there was a lot of people who were down with it in the beginning who were like, okay, enough of the shit. Like, I'm trying to live a normal life.
So now knowing that I think is extremely scary. I can understand why you would have that knee-jerk reaction, like, grab the guns, oh my God.
Especially right now, tensions are so high.
They handled it still awful. I'm not still, like, saying what they did was right, but still I can understand, I can empathize on why they would reacted the way they did. It's scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wicked scary, bro. I can't imagine, to be honest. So, when I think about those people in their houses, I go, well, I'm not going to lie. Personally, because I'm so plugged into everything, right? Like, I was witnessing what was going on. I would have done the same exact fucking thing at those people's did, except I would have done it better because I would have gone on out like, strapped to the gills just to terrify him away or something like that.
Plate carrier with I'd have
like my fucking samurai sword and shit too. I'd have my bow on there. I'd have my shotgun. I'd have everything, right?
Staff melon, bitch.
And the first thing I would do would be like, oh shit. I was gonna say, I wish I had my shotgun here. It's in my other room. I would have the first thing I would have do is go out there and what are we doing, guys? What's going on? You guys, oh, sweet. No, I'm totally upset about that too, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'd try to talk to him, right? Like you said, de-escalate and all this shit. But like, I don't fault them for what they did at all. Because I don't, if they were plugged in at the situation and had seen all the things going on and had seen the fucking Chaz Chop take over their neighborhood.
That's a scary position to be in, yeah.
They can do a hell of a lot better trying to sustain themselves off of my little mansion private development here, they could overthrow us real quick.
Yeah.
I could be dead. I could be cast out of my house. I'm going to lose all my
And all it takes is like one event, one person that won like the first like rock throne, and then that's how like chaos breaks out.
Exactly.
You can
and how easily
Prince
that can
Ferdinand.
and I can understand why that's so scary. Yeah. And like people would like listen to this conversation, and be like, that's silly. Like, no, that's not silly. Like these are people. This is happening at people's homes. Like,
imagine somebody forcibly breaking into your house in the middle of the night, saying, "Guess what? Now you're out. We're taking over your house. I'm not here to kill you, but because of X reason, the movement that is going on.
Because you're white.
Yeah. Which is the scary part.
You know? And
that's like the ultimate segue.
Because I have a hard time, and I don't...
So
I say that because I have a hard time imagining that if this was a couple of well-to-do black people, and this is the way that they reacted to this, I don't think that this is how this would have. And all I can do is, assume. And so say what you want about it. But I have a really hard time believing, especially in the raised racial tension that the country is in. I have a hard time believing that it would play out the exact same, even on an internet basis,
Yeah.
This is where I pull up my...
I also wonder how people, Hispanics or Asians, if Hispanic people or Asian people who have been doing the same thing as this white couple.
That's a great question, right? Because in LA, when the riots happened in LA after George Floyd, there was what we like to call rooftop Koreans 2.0, right? During the original LA riots, right, in Little Korea, when shit is popping off after Rodney King, places are being destroyed. There's Little Korea, right? And the rioters come into Little Korea and they're like, we're going to destroy everything. We're looting, we're rioting, we're destroying shit. The Korean store owners, they grab their rifles, they grab their shotguns, they grab their pistols, they go up on the rooftops of their businesses, they start shooting motherfuckers, say, stay away from my business, bitch. So there's a whole history books, t-shirts, rooftop Koreans. That's a thing, right? Rooftop Koreans 2.0.
I had no idea that was a thing.
That's a real thing. You can Google it. Rooftop Koreans 2.0.
Oh my God.
When George Floyd protest happened, they turned into riots in LA. They go to Little Korea. There is literally a picture of a guy in a red shirt holding a rifle.
It's the same guy. It's the same dude. Like
20 years later, 30 years later, the same fucking store owner on his roof, now with a shaved head, older guy in his middle age now, AR-15. Get the fuck away from my business. That's exactly how that gets handled. You know what's happened? Rooftop Korean, that's the guy. There's t-shirts about him. That's a whole thing, right?
Just kidding.
That's a thing. So.
Whoa. I had no idea that was a thing.
Rooftop Koreans.
There's a lot. I bet people that would listen to this, I bet a lot of people had mixed feelings about that.
You can Google it. Anyone can Google it. And they make t-shirts out of it. It's a thing where look at the way that these immigrants chose to embrace their Second Amendment rights and protect their small businesses and the lives and futures they'd create for their children. How patriotic of them.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck you if you do it if you're white and you want to protect your big ass house because you got that shit out of privilege. You're a fucking lawyer. You're probably stealing from people anyway. You're putting them in fucking jail.
Don't tread on me, man.
I don't know anything about these fucking people. All I know is that they got fucking scared from what they said, right? Because we take people on their words now. We just assume everyone's telling the truth all the time, right?
That's right.
That's what we do. So if these people are saying they're scared for their lives and they're out in front of their houses with their goddamn guns, I don't feel any different about that than I do about these rooftop Koreans that we've now celebrated twice 30 years apart. The same fucking thing happens. It's great because they're minorities and they're immigrants and they've chosen to embrace their rights. But when you're born here and you choose to do this, it's fucking racist. And I think that that's super backwards.
Yeah.
And for maybe a fifth or seventh, ninth fucking time, we do not condone the way that these people chose to conduct themselves. As we have all said, we would all do it a little bit differently. Colin a little more boastfully, me a little bit more humbly, John a little bit more humbly. But it is no different than the rooftop Koreans that we now are making t-shirts out of, writing articles about, and saying that it was really great that they did this.
I think I need to make up a post for Titania McGrath's thread. She ended hers at part 20. So we're going to talk about this a little later, but I could post a reply that's part 21 and have articles about rooftop Koreans, and I'll just say things that are racist. Part 21, rooftop Koreans.
Yes. Yeah. So that would be how I would answer that question, Carolina. I would, and there was also when the George Floyd's protest first started, right? And you can look this up too. I believe that it was in Minneapolis. There's a group of Sikh men standing in front of their store, and they said, "You heard about rooftop Koreans? What about storefront Sikhs?" 3 guys holding AR-15s. In head wraps, I don't want to mischaracterize. I don't know, whatever type of head wrap they're wearing in front of their store, protecting their store from people who might do it harm, right? So, to that same effect, we saw handfuls of videos thrown out when the first protest happened in Minneapolis of 2 white men in particular that were in not even plate carriers, but in magazine carriers, right? Just chest rigs out in front of a tobacco store saying that they were there to help protect this store because they were rolling around just trying to protect small businesses from looters. For a week, we saw about how these people were white supremacists and they're racist. Watch out for the far righters who really just want to take advantage of the situation. They don't want to protect anyone. They just want to kill people.
And
right?
how did they twist that narrative? Do you know how they twisted that narrative, made that narrative?
Go ahead.
That cropped picture? Didn't they crop a picture by doing that?
Well, the funny thing is in the video.
They were all white guys.
There was
That's the thing. Yeah, they only took a picture and they cropped 2 white guys.
Because right behind them, there's at least 2, maybe 3 or 4 black dudes who also have ARs, but they don't have chest rigs on.
Just like that.
That's the storefront Sikhs.
Like that.
Those are the storefront Sikhs right there.
Cropping a picture like that, you can twist a narrative just like that.
And so, so in the whole video, when the people are moving a little bit, there's like 3 or 4 black dudes with ARs and just no chest rigs. They just don't have, like I said, the dudes aren't even wearing plate carriers.
Those
they're
are
just
expensive as hell.
Carriers. Yeah. And so these white dudes are white supremacists for literally, they're not even their business. They're trying to protect other people's businesses so that they can maintain their lifestyle. A black-owned tobacco store they're trying to protect. And the media, in general, whoever, social media, all these people are saying that they're racist, you know? And they're like, well, where are all the black guys? Literally 2 feet fucking behind me, not being asked these questions because they're fucking black and not white.
And then the picture is out there, too. You can and then uncut photo, and then there it is. It's like, there's people.
And if that's, it's kind of funny in an aspect, right? Because you'd be like, oh, these fucking people, right? They're not even showing you the thing. But now think about it. They're not even showing you what's actually happening. That is the truth. Yeah. The fact that not just 2 white guys were posted up inside of the fucking store to try to boogaloo boy narrative, insert whatever bullshit leftist spin you want. The actual full picture shows an entire community of people rising up, coming out to protect their own community. Yeah. But you can't show it because it doesn't support your racist fucking narrative.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off.
And the cool thing, after all this, Joe Rogan did a really cool thing, and he had Colleen Noor on his podcast.
Yes.
And that was like the perfect timing.
That dude is so baller.
Yeah. I love that dude.
And so, one more point to this same idea, right? Just earlier this week,
that's great.
We saw a rally, protest, whatever you want to call it, right? In Georgia, I think, of the Not Fucking Around crew, right? The NAFC. It's a huge group of black Second Amendment advocates that were out there in force in plate carriers and magazine carriers, full black tactical gear, ARs, all the shit, right? Like, hey, check that shit out, right? Isn't that dope?
Yeah, I did kind of feel a shiver up my spine when I saw it.
Last time I saw a bunch of white dudes dressed like that, I heard that they were all white supremacists trying to start a race war.
Yeah.
Super weird. Even though they were all out there saying, tell us where you need us to be. What stores need protecting.
That's awesome.
We're here. We're down for the cause.
Yeah.
They're racist because they're... I don't...
It's because they need the division.
Yeah.
I don't know who they is. That's the fucking problem. It's this amorphous blob of they.
Yeah.
That's out there. Like,
who's controlling the media?
You can name it the media. You can, whatever the apparatus is. I mean, you can even make an argument at that point that it's capitalism, by the way. Because it's all money funded.
Oh, anything. Masks are racist now.
That's what it's just like.
So check this. I have seen it go so far. We can talk about a whole slew of things. We can talk about this thread. This is a great time, right? the tip of the iceberg or the peak I saw yesterday from the same girl that I argued with about Andy No, right? Mm-hmm. This meme about because minorities and people of color are disproportionately affected by COVID-19, not wearing a mask is not only shitty of you, it's racist because you're putting more people of color at risk for not wearing a mask statistically.
That's actually good statistics. That's actually good statistics. It's actually an accurate statistic because people of darker skin tone, they are apparently don't quote me on this. Apparently, COVID's a little more dangerous for them because they need more vitamin D. They're
extremely deficient in vitamin D. Most people are
not taking your vitamin D. Take your vitamin D, y'all. That's good for your immune system.
And
C. Take your vitamin D daily. Dude, I took like 500 milligrams.
Excessive amonts. Oh, you'll pee it out. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be good. Yeah, get your vitamin D.
C and D.
So that's why that is an actual that could be used as an argument.
Doctors, don't listen to us.
It was something like 80% of people who had COVID are deficient in vitamin D.
Yeah.
You know? And when you have darker skin, you have a much harder time getting vitamin D from the sun than you do when you're white.
Yeah.
That is statistically true. Scientifically, biologically, that is a fact as we understand it today.
But that also
from what we
makes science racist.
And a vast majority of people
science is racist.
And a vast majority of people do not supplement with anything, not even a daily vitamin like a multivitamin.
Milk is racist too. I'm Asian and I'm lactose intolerant.
Trust me,
kind of like one of those things.
Have a list.
What's going on, dude?
We have a list of all these different things.
From my aunt, one of the last times I saw my aunt Kara, she is married to my uncle Dobrico, and they have a daughter named Malaya. And they told me that apparently brown people, black people are like way more likely to be lactose intolerant.
Yep, it's true.
And I was like, what the fuck is that about? And we discussed roughly, just that they probably don't have a longer...
I mean, that's like a silly comparison, but still, that's what it kind of almost feels like where it's going to.
Well, and we discussed...
It all leads back to like Charles Murray and the bell curve and the fact that as much as we are all, at least when you live in America, we are all equal, right? But doesn't mean we're all the same.
Right.
Ethnically, genetically, we are very different.
Yeah. And
depending on where you come from in the earth.
And that's science. But now with woke culture being leaked into like the academic world, that's why cancel science, culture, you can't have that. You can't say that.
Science is racist.
It's racist. Yeah.
And
it's scary. It
is scary because at a point in the pandemic where if vitamin D was truly important, it could be
There's been several articles that seem to indicate that is the case.
But I mean, I listened to Ron and Patrick talk about it, and her and Joe Rogan are taking 5,000 milligrams a day. I'm taking the daily recommended 4,000, right? I'm just like, okay, that's cool. It's not going to fucking hurt
me. Delicious little gummy capsules.
Right. Yeah, I take the hard pills.
You take the hard pills?
Yeah, I take the hard pills. I'll just swallow it. I'm on collagen now, too. Yeah. But I'm like, why not? Because obviously, I live in the Pacific Northwest. Guess what? I'm probably vitamin D deficient anyways.
Yeah.
I am not going to be worse off by taking vitamin D at this point. It's not going to kill me. They sell it at the fucking grocery store, right?
Right.
Cool. But if that is something that you could do to possibly help you out, and especially if you have an increased level of melatonin in your skin, and we know that vitamin D is very important for just base immunizational health. Yeah. Everybody take fucking vitamin D.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a darker skin tone. Yeah. You're Filipino.
Yeah, I'm always out.
Exactly.
Out every day when the sun's out, I'm always shirtless, exposing these poor guys. Or I was like, oh, God.
He's like,
I work one day.
Yeah, I walk outside like, oh, it's gone. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was supposed to wear the tank top today. I guess it's not warm enough,
Oh, yeah, I was going to wear a tank top too, but yeah, it wasn't. We were going to both wear tank tops and fucking flex on you, but
yeah, we were.
Well, that's fine.
We're going to go shirtless sleeves. Yeah.
I will say that we'll talk later, but I want to come one night after work.
Do it. No, come. You're more than welcome.
I can
anytime.
Come to the murder gym.
Let's
get murdered. The murder garage is dope, dude. We worked out yesterday. Just a brief aside, because this is just for everyone. I've been on the Salt of the Streets Instagram, not the last couple weeks, but the first several, just talking about how you were fucking killing me. But yesterday we did. We started with just a bunch of jumping jacks and sit-ups and random stuff like that to warm up, and then we did so many deadlifts and cleans, and we did all these different ab works out in between. We were doing fucking leg lifts, and we did leg lifts while holding on to the bar like to keep our arms up, and then did leg lifts, and it was burning a whole different section of the core, and it was murdered. I know, we were done, we were like, and then when we were done cleaning, he was like, it's like, oh, we'll just, and a clean is like when you lift them and you put it on your chest and you fucking, you know what I'm saying? And so after that, he was like, oh, well, we'll just burn out the biceps and the triceps, and then we'll like call it a day. And so I told you we were in the cable machine. He fucking stacked on like over 100 pounds on these rows that we're doing.
Yeah, I was just telling him, I don't know how much this is, but
he's just like slapping
20 of them,
plates.
so
Yeah, I wasn't, and I'm not thinking about it at the time, but only after when I'm telling Jordan, I was like, oh man, and we were rowing like, had to be, it's like, this fucker, I was like, it was like over 100 pounds he's had me rowing.
Way more than 100
he was just slapping.
Maybe 200.
Just going. And then we were in like 65-pound curls with the bar in between. And when we were done, bro, I was laying on the ground.
I was like, dude,
are you good? I was like,
stretch.
I'm done. I'm done.
I'm trying to zone this all out right now because I know that you're suffering right there. That's in my future. I'm trying not to listen.
No, but the cool thing
so good, bro.
Here's a good thing, though. Like,
so good.
So we've been working out for a few weeks now. Like,
it's like
big
2 months now.
Like the first time you deadlifted, like 225 was like not the greatest feeling for you.
Right.
And now that we got your foreman, we realize that like maybe a sumo pull is better for you than a conventional deadlift, and we're getting your form back. And the last time we worked out, what did we pull? What did he pull?
I sumo deadlifted 355. 355.
So he struggled at 225 and he pushed up to 355. That's a big jump, and we're working with that form and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that just goes to show, like, if you're consistent with something and you train, you know, you can make big jumps and stuff. And after, like, his first day of, like, squats, like, his shorts didn't fit. That felt
most of my shorts and pants are tight in the thighs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like so that's awesome. Yeah, that just kind of shows if you do put in the work and stuff.
I squatted 265 last week on, like, Wednesday, and I benched 205 the last time we did, so it's slow improvements. I think the first time we benched, I only did like maybe like 150, 155.
Consistency.
So it's only been 2 months of like once or twice a week that we're.
Well, let me ask you this:
Murder Garage.
In the Murder Garage, I'm just like my mind is going off.
Casey's going to start coming out on Wednesdays.
Wednesdays?
Case Bulls Wednesdays is coming out. Yeah.
So this goes to my point. Now, anybody that's out here listening to this, why are you not making money doing this?
I just said, I don't want. I'm not really chasing money. I just like to kind of help people.
Okay.
Because
I know there might be some hoops, right, in it to get your license or whatever, but like that is something that you could probably do.
I was actually considering that when I got out of the Navy, I wanted to become a personal trainer. I was going to get my NASM certificate. When I got out of the military, I became a kickboxing instructor for a while, and then I was kind of working and thinking about getting my NASM certificate, but in the end, I just kind of went to college, and always in the back of my mind, I kind of want to be a personal trainer, but like in the end, I was just like, eh. And like, if I wanted to train people in my garage, that'd be cool, but there's a lot of lawsuits and stuff that can happen. Like, let's say if I did have a business, Donovan dropped a pen on his foot, I get sued. Bad news. So that's the only thing. That's something I've considered, and I would like to make a business. But right now, like, if you wanted to come train or something like that, and you want to work out, and I can teach you some of the things that I know based on, like, YouTube tutorials and stuff, but I don't have any formal training. That's the only thing I'm trying to say. Well, like, when I tell Donovan these things, like, this is honestly stuff I learned off YouTube and just kind of talking to other mediums.
Other than the kickboxing instructor. Yeah.
There's a new person that I learned about recently. What was her name?
Michelle.
Michelle. I'll pull her up. Yeah, but she's like a fitness person, a diet person, like that. So these are huge on YouTube, right? And they have these with their followers and stuff like that. They have a group of people that will subscribe to like a meal plan and like all these different things, right? But like do it all via YouTube, and they will like buy these programs.
Yeah.
Right. And I've seen amazing things happen, and I think it's a great deal, right? Her name is what? I can't read that.
My thoughts will probably offend you. That's what her YouTube page is? And she does workout stuff?
Yes. And her thoughts will probably offend people that we offend. I watched this shit last night.
What's so offending?
She doesn't do workout stuff.
You don't need that donut.
Exactly.
That hurts your feelings, doesn't it? Is it like one of those things? Like you're eating it, aren't you?
Wait,
that's okay.
Colin just got introduced to her yesterday.
I will tell you all about this. I've been waiting since last night to talk about this.
Tell me more.
Go ahead.
So she is a personal trainer.
Yeah.
But she shares on YouTube videos about her thoughts about things. For example, this ice cream thing, the Halo ice
Top?
cream.
Is she against Halo Top?
Yes.
Yes, I love that
So
commercial.
the Halo Top ice cream, for example, is about talking about what's it called?
With the lady dancing, we just watched this
Yeah.
commercial.
Yes.
Okay.
Should-ism.
Yes.
Yes.
However,
Should-ism.
Okay.
However, is the shootism in there? I agree. However, overweight people, they're not healthy people. Think about it. Overweight people having a lot of fat around your heart.
Obese people.
To be obese is not healthy.
Yeah.
That is an objective statement, regardless of where you stand on
Exactly.
anything.
So that's the thing. It's like it can be beautiful, yes. However, obese people they need to work on the healthy and all that. So she's
Right.
saying, hey,
Yeah.
you have to work on this. This is not right that you are just sharing that. Hey, being obese is healthy.
And
There was a
Yeah.
13-year-old girl that died for being almost close to 700 pounds.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
Yeah.
No!
Oh, yeah.
No!
The latest
I'm not-
episode,
That's
the
not
episode
fun.
I watched was about that. It was fantastic.
Okay.
And she's
send
a
me that
big-time
shit.
Nerd.
She talked to her parents.
Yes,
Exactly.
her parents have been on
Yes.
Oprah, or her mom. She's
Yeah.
single.
Of
Been on
course
Oprah
they
before.
have,
And-
because that's gonna
So,
help.
like-
Went to a store to get more junk food for her daughter. When she came home, her daughter was dead.
So yeah. On that
So-
note, like even if you are overweight, so
yeah, let's talk about this for a second. Holy
Yeah.
shit!
But
So-
this is why I like this chick. Go ahead.
Yeah, so even if you're overweight, I kind of like that. So she puts her like those like it probably doesn't offend you and stuff like that. Is true. That's stuff that you gotta say and stuff to people. And a lot of personal trainers like they are kind of saying that. But a lot of personal trainers I feel like were kind of like that. I don't like the reason why I don't like a lot of personal trainers because they're kind of fit their whole entire lives. Like since high school, they've been squatting like 500 pounds. I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to take advice from you. But most of the advice I take from personal trainers are guys that used to be fat and then like got in better shape.
So the
And
best
stuff.
guys.
Yeah, those are the best guys
Yeah.
and stuff. And like even for me, I dropped like,
Goggins.
over 100 pounds. Like I
Yeah.
lost a ton of weight too. Like,
What does your wife call you, though? Because there's Fat John, and then there's Hot John now.
yeah, there's Fat John. Like, so I go through a lot of phases. So
I've
gain-
seen you fluctuate, not greatly, but I've seen you
Yeah.
fluctuate in weight just in the year and a half or whatever that I've
Yeah,
known
so
you.
I put on and I take off weight really fast. Like when I was in the military, I was usually like 211 pounds. And that's because I was working out like 3 hours a day. Like I had
211.
nothing else better to do. I was in the barracks. I'd go to work, I'd do my honor guard stuff, and I get back to my room and just go work out. And I was a heavy dude. And then I got out, and then met Olivia. We got pregnant, and I kind of went into I ate everything that she wasn't eating, and people, that like.
God damn it, yes. That was the
So
fucking,
guilt weight is a
what
real
the
thing.
fuck, right?
There's a thing as such
Oh
as guilt
my
weight.
God.
So if you're a
Sure, I
dad,
just-
you notice
I really
that your
want
wife has
this, but
certain
I can't have
cravings,
it.
and and if you don't like wasting food like me, or you just like leftovers in general, and you can't really control yourself. I just kind of ate everything that Olivia was like, hey, I want like a lot of spaghetti. Be like, cool, I'll make a lot of spaghetti.
Breakfast. Always breakfast. She would be like,
Yeah.
I want a huge breakfast. To make a huge breakfast, she would eat just this much. Like, I can't.
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
I was
so
able
have
to lose
eat
that
all
weight
this
just
food?
because I knew how to lose it. Like I knew my body. I know
Lucky
how to
you,
do
bro.
it.
I'm happy for you.
No, that's the thing. It's easy. Like once you learn how to do it, like that's the thing. I feel like that's cool with you is like you've made a giant jump already in your deadlift. Like that's
I gotta weigh myself before I leave your
Yeah,
house.
that is
Okay.
a big jump in your deadlift, and like if you just continue going
Yeah.
down that path, like it's
I'm
gotta-
trying to break 400. That's what I'm
Yeah,
trying to do.
it's hard.
400, and I'm trying to. I think
yeah,
that I could.
405 is my one rep max.
And I think
Right now.
long term, I could get close to 3 something squat. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
think I could break 3 on squat easy.
I
Yeah.
want you to look on your app store real quick.
Thighs? What?
Yeah, right. Look in your app store real quick and find an app called Renfo.
Renfo.
Renpho. Yeah, download that because we got this scale that you're going to step on, and you're going to want to go buy one of these scales afterwards because it tracks all sorts of data based off of
Renfo for Renfo scale?
Just get
Yes.
a little advertisement.
like it's
Renfo,
pretty
Oh,
dope.
it's a smart scale you have.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
it is so
Oh,
dope.
cool.
It tracks so much
Like your
great
BMI
stuff.
and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is the only
Fantastic.
place I ever weigh myself is
Right?
at your house.
Yes.
Perfect.
If you go to like Total Nutrition or Max Nutrition, they actually have a BMI machine in there. If you
Oh,
want to go
I don't
in
know
there,
that I
it'll
wanna do
stand in
that.
there and it measures you.
Yeah, I
That's
don't know
actually
that I wanna
good.
do that.
I like it because it measures like if you especially have injuries. I broke my knee, so like when I went in there, I like to get my measurement to see if my leg's heavier than the other.
Oh yeah.
So that's a good way of saying it. It sees if like your right arm's heavier than your left arm, and that's important to know because
Yeah.
Like, there's a range. If one arm's heavier than the other, you are more than likely to hurt yourself. And it's actually more common than people think.
Really?
Oh, yeah, because if you have your spine, there's everything that you do, all your ligaments,
You have a
and all this
dominant
stuff, right?
side.
All this stuff
Right.
is all tied to your spine, right? So when you have a dominant side versus a
Non-dominant.
non-dominant, whatever. Like if one gets
Your
too
pussy side.
stronger than the other,
Yeah, you compensate.
like the strength
Get
of
your
those
bitch
muscles
side.
and things on one side or the other can
Yeah.
pull one way or the other,
Right.
and you can end up with shit like chronic lower back pain
Slip
Yeah,
disc.
that's
because
what I'm
you're
dealing with.
too
Yeah.
unbalanced.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I broke my knee when I was in the military, so I had to compensate. I broke my right knee, so I had to compensate with my left leg. So my left leg got really strong, my right leg got really weak.
I know
While my
that
left leg was
story well.
compensating. Yeah, my left knee kind of took a lot of pressure from that, and now my left knee is all goofed up. So like, I have these injuries and having to work around them. I feel like my form's getting better. That's another cool thing too. It's like
Yeah.
working around it.
That's good. Fuck, I don't remember how we got on this. I just asked you about working. Oh yeah, because there's so many things you could do without like necessarily thinking of yourself as a personal trainer and
Yeah.
like having to go through the state certification program and all this
Right.
stuff. Like you can still make a living these days on the internet being
Absolutely.
who you are with people.
Absolutely.
So just tuck
That's
that
something I
away.
would talk about often
Almost-
is like college education versus like,
Yeah.
like
You
workforce.
To that point, and to yours, you could almost even have a more prevalent and relatable internet presence because you have fluctuated weight and you have the ability to fluctuate weight. That if you were to gain 40 pounds or whatever, just as an example, that's a lot of weight. But if you were to gain 20 pounds, right, because that's more reasonable, and you were on YouTube, you're like, I gained 20 pounds. Oh, doing this and this and this. Like I was like eating poorly the last couple months, and I've been really into pasta. It's like I've been eating a lot of carbs, like whatever. But now, like I got to get off that. So I'm gonna do what I can. Like I'm gonna show you guys what I'm gonna do to get these 20 pounds off to get back to where I was at. You know what I'm saying? So something to consider.
Because if that's not an everyman story, I don't know what is.
I live across the alley from you, and my whole deal, I mean, I want to be healthier because I have a kid. My biggest struggle is like my gut, Yeah. I know, like I had decent arms and stuff when we came in. My legs have always been good ever since I played football. But like, there's
Nothing happens
Everyone
overnight.
has
It's just small little stuff.
And it's Jordan said to me today, like I was standing in the kitchen waiting for my stuff out of the dryer, and she was like, your waist is more defined. Like
yeah.
you just can see where it starts more
And
clearly.
remember
than it did
that,
before,
and let that motivate you.
Yeah.
That's like the best thing. Like once you take a little bit of progress and you become addicted to that, and that's what you feed off.
Well, and
sooner or later you'll be like running like 3 miles.
I'll show you when we're done, but like my shoulders and shit are jacked,
yeah,
bro. They're ripped up. They look fucking great.
I would love to have you in there, man. I'd like to see you.
Yeah,
I live right across the alley,
I'll come
bro.
by.
Yeah, and we, we're dabbing up and shit, and then fucking lifting up, and it's fucking. That's the way to. That's the way to live.
I hate to say it, man. There's so many aspects of life that are just, that much better when you're just smoke a little weed.
Lifting's one of those things.
I PR'd really.
Fuck yeah, bro! This guy squatted 285, and he was just like gonna burst his eyeballs out, but he got it.
And then I was like, I shouldn't have done that. Really.
The 355 that I deadlifted, I was high as balls. I was just dabbing.
Yeah, because it kind of makes you like focus on one thing. That's kind of a good thing.
Yeah, breathing, and just being able to breathe right into the belt, and like tighten your core. And like I was telling John, like I know that I did a fucking heavy lift when my core hurts afterwards. Like when I had to squeeze so hard in my core that not even in my back, my front hurts.
Yeah.
That's how I know.
That's the beauty of like heavy lifting. Is like,
my front hurts this morning.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, I fucking
everything's tight. Like I always tell him before he like does a lift, I'm like, everything's tight.
Yeah.
Like your back, your glutes. Like when he's benching, his legs are tight.
He showed me this thing for the Mark and Chris Bell, right? The Bell brothers. They make like a bigger, stronger, faster, all that shit. They showed me a video of them benching, right? And you grab onto the bar and you put your feet up on the bench and you lift like your entire body up off the bench. You compress your shoulders and then
contract your scapula.
Yeah, and then lay back down onto the bench so it's already tightened up, so that when you lift, your whole body's already tight. You plant your feet and you're squeezing. And I benched another 25 pounds once I started doing that.
A lot of people they sell themselves short as stuff. Like when they go to the gym, a lot of people are afraid to go heavy. Like a lot of people, like especially a lot of girls, and something my wife likes to do. She's like, "Oh, babe, it's too heavy." I'm sorry, babe. She's gonna listen to this and be like, "Oh my god, she's be
I don't sound like that."
However, we like doubled her weight.
Olivia. We love you.
I love you, babe. But like we doubled her weight, like her jump. Like she was deadlifting like more than her body weight within like a week, and it wasn't easy because like she kept on arguing with herself, like, "Oh, this is too much weight. That's too much weight." But like she probably won't get. She finally got over that mental like threshold and pushed herself, and now she's pulling like more than her body weight. So kind of like that's a lot of people. If you are getting in their workout routine, don't be afraid to like go past like your pain threshold.
Fuck yeah, bro! I weigh like 230 and I deadlifted
like then you can be like Donovan and pull like an extra 100 pounds like within a week. Yeah, and he has a lot of raw goddamn strength too. Yeah,
thank you, sir.
Fuck yeah,
built like a linebacker, right?
Out here hustling, bro.
Nice. You out there? Yeah, what?
DN, bro.
DN.
I want him to stay in Keyport, so like when his kid becomes of age, like we can train up our kids.
Oh man,
Dax.
He woke up yesterday
like a baby
and Jordan brought him into the garage, and I was trying to get him to lift up this bar so bad, and he was putting his hands on it, but he wouldn't like try
and I was in the middle of doing stuff and I kept on looking over and I was just like, is he gonna do it?
You got it, bro. I'm like, you can do it. Like it's only 45 pounds. You can lift up one end. Like you can do it, bro.
This weight? And I was
he was thinking
about it too. It was just so cute. It was like
his max right now is about 1 Costco gallon of milk.
A whole gallon, bro. Lift it up. Yeah, pull it out of the fridge. It's a monster. Guy weighs 30 pounds. 30 pounds, my son.
So you're now like just trying to get yourself set up so that when the boy comes of age, you can be at his level.
I'm trying to know when he's a sophomore that he's going to be a 5-star recruit when he's a senior. Ooh. That's where we're trying to. And
retirement plan.
There's a million people like I cannot believe that he has that unhealthy outlook on his son, and I would never force him to do anything.
Absolutely not.
Ideally, he would love football as much as I love football because I love football and I loved playing football. I thought it taught me so much and it still teaches me so much. I think it has so much to offer. It's very dangerous and I would absolutely do it in the safest way that we possibly could for him. He doesn't need to tackle until he's like close to high school. You know, you can get all of the fundamentals in and all of the strategery and the that's a Mario Kart term, a Mario Party term. And
sounds about right.
You can learn all of that through flag and touch football. But as far as safe tackling, safe hitting, safely playing that game, you have to learn how to hit, you know? So at a certain point, especially before college, when you're playing against dudes that are over 300 pounds, you need to know how to be safe. Exactly. So there's lots of options, you know, and rugby, from what I've heard, seems to be a lot safer because they're not wearing helmets. You know, they're way more protective of their heads because they're
not
wearing
NFL likes to recruit a lot of rugby players, rugby players because
especially kickers and stuff too, the smaller ones, like
a sport like MMA, where like, okay, these are two professionals that are going to try to kill each other now,
savage,
and then at the end of it, they're both going to get up, walk away, shake hands, and leave, unless one of them gets knocked out.
He'll get up eventually,
but he could easily kill the other person if he wanted to, necessarily. Like,
so you have the person there to stop it. No, it's done.
Exactly,
he's asleep.
It's like, with football, it's kind of the same thing. You could be a 350-pound mountain of flesh and charge full bore into somebody and tackle them around the throat, and it would kill them. Probably. You know what I mean? So there's safe ways to do that. And it's nice that we know that now.
Right. Yeah, with technology and stuff, but still like TBI. Like, there's always so much you can do in that kind of sport.
But I think part of
in a
CTE, CTE, they're showing that even just from playing soccer and heading a soccer ball over and over, you can give yourself CTE. It's just any type of repeated brain trauma, you can develop CTE over.
And that's kind of like a little bit more towards like the aspect I was going to try to hit at. Is like at the end of the day, you have, you know, football is still readily kind of referred to like this, and then, you know, fighting and stuff, obviously, because it is what it is. But it's like the reason I think those sports are probably so incredibly disciplined, right? And you have a lot more of that hardcore kind of team mentality that's built, and this cooperation and this understanding of like a leadership chain and where you are as a team. And now you as a team have to strive and everybody has to perform like on point to get the victory, right?
Right.
There's not that many sports that actually, like, at least when I was growing up, that were like that. I never did football, but it's football. I don't think has really changed necessarily. It's always like that because there's always been that danger aspect.
Yeah.
So I think fighting is probably that way too. You think of the discipline in fighters, the discipline in football players. You don't really have that when you start hitting baseball, golf, like all these other different.
They can be
aren't necessarily
more.
like,
They can be more individualistic. Yeah. And we, especially with all the baseball guys,
even
that I
soccer
work with,
too.
You know,
it's like that is a game that it. For those that the uninitiated will say that people that don't watch or haven't played soccer, like soccer is a 110% a team sport. Everybody's got to play their shit, and you always
some
have
of the
to
best
act.
athletes that there are
100%.
as far as actual athleticism. I mean, to have that type of endurance is,
But it's kind of like
cannot be understated.
it's like basketball is probably the same type of thing too. Like there's every member of that team plays a very, very important role, and if you're not striving towards that, you know, that ultimate role in that position, your team's probably not going to win, right?
Right.
But at the same time, the game is so individualistic because it relies on one person with the ball to make the point, right? And so you kind of lose sight of the rest of that teamwork that's going on, same in soccer. Right. So it tends to be seen as like, yeah, it's just
especially
one guy
on TV.
who's really fast, jumps around and scores, you know, whatever the fuck. But like the teamwork that is still heavily inlaid in football, I think helps kind of make up for some of the more, this is obviously my opinion at this point a little bit, but a little bit more of those like traditional value type things, reliance in other people and kind of like, you know,
teamwork.
but it's still like it's a heavy meritocracy and like all those kind of more traditionally things. Not everybody gets a trophy and shit.
And
that's still pretty sacred in football because of how dangerous it is.
And
it used to be the other fucking sports were the same way.
Yeah.
But not so much anymore. Because you can fuck with those sports because you're not going to die playing soccer for the most part.
Right.
You know, but you might die in football if you don't know how to play football.
Well, and in football, that's instilled very young, right? And I can provide a great example. When I was in junior high, Rob fucking Howard, I just saw that guy like 2 weeks ago. Hadn't seen him in years.
Fucking Howard.
Yeah, sorry. I went to,
Howard.
so if you're listening, Rob, shout out.
He's like Ron fucking Burgundy.
Ron fucking Burgundy. It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer. He was the quarterback of our junior high football team, and I remember very, very vividly, being 13, 14 years old, you're not as gracious as you are when you're an adult. And we played really well our freshman year. And so we just did well. And one particular game that we were having trouble, the offensive line was not doing a very good job being able to stop the defensive line. It was just struggling. Rob was taking a lot of abuse. It was
like Seattle.
And he was accosting the offensive line. Just fuck you guys, do your fucking job. Like, why aren't you?
And you're like 12 or 13?
We're freshmen, so we were 14 or 15. So we were, it was not unheard of. We certainly were all swearing. It was not,
Not that I disagree with it. I'm just noting that that is happening to those level of individuals.
And this is not, Rob, this is no reflection on who he is today. He is
I actually
even
agree
just
with
from
that.
In high school, he is a much different person than who we knew in high school. Rob
Kids
Howard
lack
is,
a discipline.
by all accounts,
they need a discipline.
A fantastic human being, a fantastic father, a fantastic husband. Rob Howard's a great guy.
Sounds like it.
Only junior high, right? So, and they just did not take well to that. And they were, when they lined up on the next play, they were very clear to the players on the other team, like, we're not going to block you. We're not going to do that. So we're just going to stand up and you do whatever, you're going to do, because Rob Howard is being a dickhead.
That's
and it's not.
Damn.
And so for just just that series, maybe not even the whole series, maybe just 2 plays in a row.
Okay.
You know, he took abuse. He got the shit kicked out of him by like 4 dudes all at the same time because the guys in front of him were so we're not going to block for you if that's how you're going to act. And it's like, okay, word. You know what I'm saying? And shortly after that,
he was the quarterback?
He was the quarterback. Yeah. Rob Rob
I'm
Howard.
like under the assumption that he's a coach.
No.
Totally missed that
The
part.
students beat up the coach. Like,
Rob Howard, we went to school with him. He was the quarterback of the team. Mm-hmm. So Rob Howard was taking abuse because the offensive line was struggling.
Yeah, went a little too far.
Yeah. After having been a dickhead about it, they were like, well, fuck you then. So that's instilled very early that
there's
even
a hierarchy there.
Even if it
social hierarchy.
Even if it isn't a team-wide thing, the players in their respective positions know exactly what their position is. The offensive line knows. Without us, he has no time to do anything. Whether he's going to hand the ball off or try and throw it, if I'm not going to do my job, he has no chance of doing his job.
Whether we're good players or not.
Yeah, so even if it isn't of a cohesive group nature that you understand how important every role is, you understand how important your role is because you're doing it.
Exactly.
And so it's very easy to see that it's a team sport because you can just choose not to do your job and the team will fail.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you're just one of the 3 receivers or 2 receivers, if you're not doing your job, the team will not be able to play effectively.
Yeah, so that's probably one of the reasons why football is still one of that, like it's still at that level.
Yeah.
You know, it's why it's so intense, like it's taken over the culture, like Texas. College football and shit.
I mean, it's
so
a lifestyle. Like those athletes are that level of athlete, that's a different caliber of human, man. Those NFL athletes too.
Those are different humans.
Those are some giants, man, and they put millions of dollars worth of like stuff into those guys for a reason, man.
Yeah. Oh my God. Let me pause sports for 5 seconds because there's no fucking way that you know this, and I doubt that you know this because you don't really watch sports. Do you like it all?
No, I'm not really.
So Patrick Mahomes, right?
Okay.
You know who Patrick Mahomes is, right? He's the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. Won the Super Bowl last year, defeated San Francisco. Signed a contract extension last week, right? For 10 years, which is, to my knowledge, the longest contract in NFL history. To my knowledge.
As a quarterback?
Right? As a quarterback.
They're trying to Brady.
He's 24 years old. Do you want to know how much money this contract was worth?
Oh, please. 10 years.
Do you want to guess first, or do you want me to just tell you?
Because this is the next Tom Brady. You're going to need to tell me because I have...
24?
You know me and NFL.
24 years old. In all regards, one of the greatest quarterbacks, certainly top 3 quarterbacks.
Can you imagine being that
right
age
now.
and having that, like, that...
Oh, dude.
Like, here, this is an option for you right now because of your genetic,
a 10,
advantages and your hard work.
Contract extension, when it's all said and done, this contract is worth $503 million.
Can you imagine me at 24 and be like, hey, does this sound good to you? Yeah.
With
cool.
Yeah. So half a $1 billion, right? With
$500 million.
24-year-old.
24.
What would you do with that money at 24?
And the injury guarantees,
man.
The injury guarantees are $140 million.
What?
So he could break his leg tomorrow and not play a single down, still get $140 million.
Yeah. I get my money still.
That's baseball shit. That's baseball shit right there. That's unheard of.
My mind is fucking blown.
$503 million.
You say $500 million. I'm like, you know,
half a billion.
That's more than.
I was so immature at 24. That still blows my mind.
Yep. He also
Speaking of happy linemen.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what he's going to buy them, right? And this year prior to signing that extension, he was still on his rookie contract. I think it was going to be his 4th year, maybe his 5th year of his rookie contract, and he was going to make like $850,000.
That's awesome.
Less than $1 million. He's going to now make $45 million.
So, like, season. That's the thing, like, that I think about,
like 50 times what you were going to make in one season, you're now going to make in one season.
So, looking at your son, like, your son obviously probably is going to have genetic, like, a really good athletic,
and
he's going to be an athletic kid.
And that's
like,
exactly,
just looking at your son up, like, that's going to be an athletic kid.
And that's why I strive for that for him because
that's a scary thing to me as I feel like as a father, you know, like
one
deciding like what sport to put him in. And I know that's something that you worry about too.
Daunting.
Yeah.
One of the first things
my kid up to be successful in every facet possible.
Yeah.
Daunting.
One of the first things I said to my coworker when I found out about that it was that much money, I said, "Can you imagine what he's going to do for the country with that money?" You know, because you don't need $500 million to yourself. You don't. You
just
can't
gonna sit in a bank somewhere.
He also has endorsement deals with a private jet company, Adidas. I mean, there's Head and Shoulders. There's tens of companies that he already has endorsement deals with. Rob Gronkowski, when he retired, had not spent a single cent of his NFL money. He had lived off of solely endorsement money the entire time he played in the NFL.
Awesome. And now that he's coming back, I mean,
I'm sure he's going to do the same thing. But my point, right, is I said even if he doesn't do something for the country, imagine what he's going to do for Kansas City.
Yeah, just the local economy,
for his town, because at minimum, he'll have $140 million to improve his life and the life of the people around him.
Do you know how many people are going to make a shit ton of money off of whatever house he builds, whatever property he buys, whatever stores he starts to go to? Not to mention the fact that it's 2020 and you can buy anything online. The amount of internet businesses that are going to make a shit ton of money off him, and he's going to just improve the life of everyone that works in the economy wherever he goes.
And that's
because he just has this wallet that he gives to the rest of us. That's called trickle-down economics.
That's something that Jordan and I talk about consistently when we talk about like this show. You know, that one of the things that I look forward to and not look forward to about owning a business is being able to provide people, hire people, pay people what they feel like they're worth more than what they're worth, so that they can provide a good source for us or a good resource for us, and also provide for their families. I look forward to having the means to give back to my community in an extremely relevant way, you know.
And I know you would, man. That's why I support you guys.
And that's what I dream for my kid to be in a position like that, to have every opportunity and no excuse not to help your community. You know,
100%.
Like when you're, if I was Patrick Mahomes' dad, I'd be like, yo, this is the greatest thing anybody has ever done in the world of football. I can't wait to see what you do for your community.
You know? Yes.
Like that's it. Instill in your son, and I have no doubts that his dad is doing that, or that Patrick Mahomes is thinking that, right? But it's especially when he's 24 years old. It is still so on the parent to help guide their kid with that much power, that much responsibility, that much influence to ensure they're doing the right thing, you know? And that's all that I hope for my kid, to have the means to do all of the good that he wants in the world, you know? And one of the best ways in America is by having unlimited sums of money and not being a piece of shit. You know? Yeah. And so I would love for him to be excellent and be renowned countrywide, you know, for just, this is my favorite football player is Dax Phillips. He had this many tackles last year, this many yards, this whatever, you know? But that's how things get done in this country. And when you're provided with that much capital, that many resources, you have no reason not to do something absolutely dumbfoundingly incredible. Yeah. And
actually, on that note, I asked you this question before, but this is something I always wondered, like, knowing you had a podcast. I was wonder what would happen if, like, all right, I'm going to ask you this question, right? Say tomorrow morning, you get a phone call, and this guy's like, hey, this is Jamie. Yeah, wonder if you'd come on the show.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I'd like to talk to you. What would be the first thing you did if you got that phone call?
I'd be like, first of all, I'd be like, you fucking with me?
And I was like, no.
What?
No.
I'd be like, yeah, word. I'm like 99% sure we're available.
Yeah.
Let me get Don on the line real quick.
Yeah, knowing that you are going to blow up, that you are going to be in the media spotlight. What are the first things you're going to do? He kind of went like towards like going and being a lawyer.
The first thing I said, well, the first thing I would get a lawyer.
Yeah.
And
get a lawyer.
Absolutely.
Very first thing, if I knew for certain we were going to come into an enormous sum of money.
That was a question I've been dying to ask. Like,
the very first thing is I would retain a lawyer.
Yeah. You got the golden ticket.
Spotify just came to us with that $100 million Joe Rogan deal.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I would retain a lawyer.
100%.
Very first thing, lawyer.
Step 2.
I am so stupid. Please help me.
Yeah, 'cause that's
I'm
kind of like a
just
default.
beyond dumb.
Right.
Yeah, lawyer will obviously give you all the things that you need to do. And step 2, what would be?
Yeah.
What would be? The
So,
next
what would you want to do with that newfound
power?
success?
Yeah.
Power.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So my answer, I guess, would be
That was the second thing I
that's a
said.
big
That was the
what if.
second thing I said was LLC. I said a lawyer because I'm retain one because I don't know what I need it for yet. I don't have a contract yet, but it's coming down the pike. I'm gonna find a lawyer I like, and I'm gonna say, just hold the fuck on because I'm gonna call you in like 5 days, and I need you to look over something.
Right.
So that's number 1. Number 2, let me set up a legitimate business so I have somewhere to put all of this money.
So
This
step
all
1,
happens in one day.
because you literally could do it in a few hours.
Yeah, it would not take long.
Step 1,
Hire a lawyer to set up an
100%
LLC
legitimate,
for me.
right? And then step 2, like, what would you really do? I would build a facility to which we would be able to do what we do here
We would have the greatest
every day.
office.
But I mean, like, it, and it would be like, in my dream, it'd be kind of like this hybrid thing. Like, we have what we do here, and we have journalists out in the field. We have correspondents. I mean, we have people that live in fucking DC, that live on the Hill, that we could get the verdict level style
We call
interviews
every day.
with people that are on the Hill, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's
Our
key.
own journalists, one in the White House, in the daily press briefing, one that is there. We have actual salt of the streets journalists on the ground.
I would not be opposed to setting up a special On the Hill podcast side gig that's going on where whoever's there sits down with all
Does
these
their own,
representatives and all this stuff, and and that's what we do, right? So, but at the same time, like, I want to hire. One of my biggest problems about the area that we live in is the single biggest employer by far in the county is the federal government.
Like 1,000,000%.
That's cool. That's cool that the government can offer jobs to a community like this. What happens if the federal government decides to move the bases somewhere else? We have what essentially happened around the turn of the century when we had or turn of the millennium and stuff, when all of a sudden we started to retract away from our own manufacturing and all these like timber industries and all the mill companies that were on rivers and stuff.
The
and
mills were
huge
big,
towns
yeah.
and all this stuff. They died overnight when all of a sudden we didn't need to do that anymore. Like, what would happen if the federal government left Washington State? I want to create an economy, a local economy where that is not necessary. And through its existence, creates more educated individuals that are knowledgeable of their God-given rights, whatever you want to label, you put it, your inalienable rights, that you know exactly where you are compared to the government, that helps out people in need. You know, we rely on the federal government to do the charity work that we as individuals should be doing for our friends and neighbors. We don't do that. So I want to get involved in charity work. I want to get involved in the sort of acquisition of property that should not be owned by the state, but that should be owned by the people, in which we can open up all these new avenues to create things like skate parks and like places for kids to hang out and learn skills,
Or
and
even
do
just
cool
places
shit.
for people to hunt.
I mean, I'm always there.
Yeah.
The fucking timber companies shouldn't be the only ones that own our public fucking land, but that's the kind of level that I would want to do with that kind of power. That's what I would want to do, and I think that's generally reflective of where we're at. You know, we want to better the community, we want to better America, and we just want to make a living. It's kind of what we want to do, and it helps that if you can make people more informed and better individuals along the way. Maybe.
Yeah.
Am I close? Yeah. I
Yeah,
think we're
yeah.
close. We've discussed this a lot.
Yeah,
over
the only
years.
thing that I remember from my conversation with John was like really the lawyer. Like I was like, the first thing I'm gonna do is get a lawyer.
Yeah.
But certainly long term, the the journalism aspect, 100%. We have always shared the view of wanting for us to have like a daily show, week daily show of, an hour and a half or so that we're doing every day from information we're getting from our reporters throughout the country on stories that they're reporting on so that we can hear it from them and then gather from other sources what we can. And then community involvement has always been an aspect of what we've talked about.
Because you just make the world a better place when you do that.
When we're both from here, and we never were like, I can't wait to sign a contract and then move and start an office in California. Like we're always like, I can't wait to buy a huge chunk of land outside of city property to build an enormous building to do all of these things in.
You guys are,
and then do whatever the fuck else we want there. Yeah, and I don't think
that's awesome.
Unless it was absolutely necessary, I don't think that we see ourselves locating out of Washington. Maybe to Seattle if like we had to record or something, but I don't see any reason why we would not be able to maintain our own office somewhere in Kingston, or you know what I'm saying, something like that.
I got my eye on a piece of 318 acre property in Chelan County.
So
might have to start a ranch one day.
That's the goal. That's the goal for the wife and I.
Yeah.
I'll show you some places to look. I did some research last weekend.
Yeah.
But I just think that's, and to bring it all the way back to Patrick Mahomes, I think it would be nice to hear all of these people that get these fat contracts, like, what are you going to do, bro?
Yeah.
I know you're going to play football for the next 10 years. That's awesome. We're excited to see you here. But, like, what else are you going to do?
Well, in their defense, most of them do some type of community activity. It is very true. There is. So let me put this in perspective.
Almost every football player I've ever come across. Let me put this some kind of charity.
Let me put this in perspective for you. There's 32 NFL football teams, right? And there are 53 players finalized on each roster at the beginning of every year. So 53 times 32 is whatever the fuck number that is. It would be super, super hard, especially because the NFL does not have their own devoted media agency. It is ESPN, so there are 1,700 players active in the NFL when the season starts, right? NFL doesn't have its own media agency. It has ESPN, Bleacher Report, all of the sports news agencies there are. Yeah. Plus every other sport there is going on at that time. And football's in the fall. So basketball is going on, hockey is going on, there's baseball's going on, there's a bunch of other sports happening at that time, right? So super hard to cover anybody other than people who like
the superstars.
JJ Watt, right? When the hurricane happened in Houston, over $100 million he was able to collect from donations to help Houston, right? It's only shit like that they can cover. There are people, and if you only make, right? I mean, the NFL average, look up what the NFL average salary is for me, Colin, or I'll do it.
The NFL average salary?
NFL average salary, because it's around $1 million. It's really not very much.
All right, Tanya, you can wait, Tanya.
Yeah, and so it's, if all you can afford to donate is $10,000 to $2 million a year is the average NFL salary. So if all you can afford to donate is maybe $100,000, right, a year, which is to us is a substantial amount of money, substantial, but compared to over $100 million or $500 million, it's a minuscule amount of money. Yep. There's almost no point in reporting on it. 100%. As shitty as that is, I think, and you think, and John thinks, and I'm sure both of our wives think, that there is immense value in noting that over $100,000 was donated to X organization for X cause. But if you're Drew Brees, for example, right?
Yes.
Just for example, if you're Drew Brees and you're pro-life and you donate $100,000 to a pro-life organization, no one wants to cover that, because then you just look like a piece of shit who wants to take away women's rights, even if you're just devoutly religious and think that it's murder.
I feel like donating's a dangerous thing to do. In
dangerous game. Dangerous game.
Especially like
So I bet there's even more, like, to that fact, to donating publicly. I bet there's even more that donate anonymously that just don't even want to be tied to it for one reason or another. They
like
don't,
in most states, it's less than $100 to form an LLC. If you don't want to take any possibility of getting any kind of public, problems, you start an LLC. Oh my God, why can't I say that? LLC called whatever the fuck, incorporated LLC, and you just start that company. You put in that amount of money, and then that company makes a charitable donation to whatever cause you want to do. Done. Who cares? Done.
Right. So I'm sure that type of stuff happens all the time.
Probably
or
does.
donations through their agents, or through their parents or something, Right? If I didn't want to, I don't know, it might be hard for me to donate to a Second Amendment agency or organization or something like that if I was an NFL player. So if I was like, Mom, I'm going to give you $1 million just...
Can you,
just
I'll
middleman
send you $1,100,000.
Middleman it
you
on
keep
over
100,000.
to exactly. Middleman it on over to here, and no one is even going to have any idea. I bet that type of shit happens all the time.
Social money laundering.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's to keep you safe from cancel culture. You have to legally launder your money so that you can't be socially implicated for donating to something.
Yeah, and that's a lot of like ifs, but I'm sure that type of stuff happens all the time. I'm sure.
Especially if anybody you get to that point where you're actually in the public eyes, like especially today, nobody knows what they're going to come after you for in the future. So I might as well just play it safe and let's just create a shell corp that pays out all the money that I want to donate and all the good stuff. Let's a CYA, cover my own ass. We'll just create a shell company to do all the good work that I want to do.
And there's even, this is another great example, Chad Ochocinco, right?
Oh,
he used to play for the Bengals. There was like on Twitter a thread of different times that he had tipped $35,000 or things like that because he was like when I played this team and this, I got 350 yards or I had 35 touchdowns this season. This fucking happened, this happened, whatever it is. He's naming off random facts. So I'm deciding to tip this amount of money, So even if he's not donating to charity all the time, he's fucking giving away, doing something good, assuming that person's not a piece of shit that he's giving the money to, He's doing good with his money in that way.
Yeah.
So that type of stuff I think happens consistently. Russell Wilson, fucking goes to Children's Hospital like every week.
Yeah.
So that type of stuff happens in many ways.
Yeah, I always wonder like what people would actually do with power, and that's like something I was always curious. Like I knew you guys always had good intentions.
Yeah.
I
kind of forgot that's how we started this conversation. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it makes sense, man. Mm-hmm. Like for you to have a better life, you want everyone around you to have a better life. Why would you not want to do that?
Always
if you could?
Give back, man.
Yeah, it just makes sense to me.
Absolutely.
On every level. I don't get it.
Happiness isn't real unless it's shared.
We definitely have a range at our office.
100%.
Like out back, I'm saying.
Oh, dude. Yeah, we have we got a tactical range, we got a pistol range, we got a long range because, sometimes I want to know I can hit shit half a mile away just because, Yeah. Like that's how it works. In the Boogaloo group, I count myself as the long range, recon sniper. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I work good at that level. So we need a long range rifle range. We need to have like metal shop, wood shop, which I would also want to bring in like local professionals that know how to do that kind of stuff.
Would work,
and like just hold free classes at night and shit.
Show people how to do this.
Anybody that wants to come learn how to like weld and like create cool shit, because you can be incredibly artistic in something like welding or woodworking or something like that, but still have the backbone of being able to make money.
Yeah.
And you can just offer that. Yeah. Vocational training.
Absolutely.
If you really wanted to boil it down and talk about it.
That's like something I probably want to do when the girls are, when they go to school and my daughters go to school, if I can possibly like volunteer and teach, like, cause I'm a carpenter. I'm a pretty handyman. I wanted to teach that at a school, like possibly. I'm also going to school right now. I'm also going to become a licensed carpenter. Like after all this whole thing blows over, that's the plan. Yeah, that's something I feel like a lot of people need. That's something that needs to be promoted more. Is definitely like trade and stuff and like
100%. You ever listen to Mike Rowe? Talk about
I do.
Mike
I
Rowe stuff?
love Mike Rowe.
Mike Rowe is one of the greatest Americans
Absolutely.
ever.
Absolutely.
How are we doing on time, by the way, there?
2 hours.
2 hours? Okay, good. So we got some fuck around time. Yeah, because that's something I've always... Like, it's kind of weird to be in a position or in a society that's kind of grown to the level of control that our society is at this point, you know? And then by doing the podcast and stuff, you dive deeply into, like, the Constitution, and then you start to read things like the Federalist Papers, and then you start to realize that there's an entire... what essentially is a grouping of states or, you know, early states or colonies and stuff with all the same kind of political opinions that are going on at the same time as all the founding stuff is going on. And they're reading the same things. And there's literally even what they called, quote, false news at the same fucking time as they were writing these documents. And you can read like their different perspectives on all these different kind of like societal level issues that are going on today. And then you realize that you can interpolate kind of from their thoughts on those to their thoughts on, you know, how they get to the Constitution and the Declaration and the Articles and all these different things. And it is fucking fascinating to think about. But when you bring it all the way back to like the world that we live in now, like all these things that we kind of been talking about, like you know, you have a gift for fitness and just kind of like this healthy living kind of thing going on right now. Like, and your attitude and your personality is incredibly fucking addictive to be around. So, you know, humble brag, but, you know, the woodworking stuff, like carpentry and all this good stuff, like there's nothing, I don't think there should be anything in your way to stop you from doing that because you obviously have the skill level. You're open to learning as much as possible so that you could be better at whatever it is that you want to do and then to be able to carry that to the community that surrounds you so that they can be better off too. Yeah. But right now, you kind of live in a society and in a system that says, well, no, you can't do that without a license. We have to make sure that you are okay to teach that. Yeah. Much less trying to apply as a like a shop teacher at a school. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're limited in what you can do by a federally and
with funding, everything.
Federal funding, approving of a state mandated curriculum that you have to teach. So whatever the fuck, like it's almost like this. I don't want to say corruption, but it's if you think of it in its true terms of this corruption on liberty that has manifested itself all the way down.
Control. It's control.
It is. It's 100% control, and that it's sad to me that those kind of barriers exist to us wanting to kind of do the things that we want to do.
Yeah, right? Let's like my idea right now. Like that sounds like a good wholehearted idea. It's like, hey, 100%. I want to go to my school, to my daughter's school, and teach everybody how to build stuff. That sounds nice, right? Can I do that and actually do that?
Probably not.
By law? No.
You probably have to go to college and get an education degree, at least in 2 years, and then you have to take whatever kind of professional exams and courses are involved to become a licensed, certified state teacher so that you can teach at a state school that is funded by the taxpayers, but we have literally almost nothing to do or no say in what happens in it.
What I can do is just like knowing that like in my dream world, like where I can go in and like help out and teach kids like, hey, you can do this. Like in Mike Rowe's like dream world where he's like pushing on like trades and stuff in like the high schools and kids are proud of work and stuff. And, you know, blue collar jobs aren't really looked past. Yeah. But, I don't know, this is something I'm going to push on my daughters. Like, I think about, especially as a dad, like, I think about, like, college for my daughters. Like, when they, like, we already started a fund, like most parents do. They start a fund, like, from day one when the kid's born. Like, I'm trying to get them a fund for college. And I'm thinking, like, hey, is college exactly the best choice? What is college going to be in 20 years? Yeah. Like, what is education going to look like? And we got to think about those things. Like, what is college nowadays? Like, like, I feel like a lot of people are leaving college with degrees that are just useless. And, like, we can say that. And I feel like with a society that is pushing everyone to go to college. Like, in my high school experience, this is something that Don and I talk about, is homeschooling our kids. That's something he's thinking about. And same thing with me, is because there's this narrative out of high school that, like, you have to get a college degree to become successful. And there'll be teachers that joke around and leave you, like, McDonald's resumes if you fail the math test and stuff. And it's like,
what?
Yeah, that's something that happened in my high school.
That is fucked.
Yeah. So
I had a 4th grade teacher who, and this is, I'm
and
not
it's a
blaming
joke with
her
the mentality
for this,
that they're
but
sending with
Yeah.
it.
she used to make jokes about you'll end up flipping burgers if you don't do this, which is all in good fun. It's a joke, it's whatever, but it also pushes forth the idea that if you do not have higher education, you cannot have a productive life. Which
you're going to be one of those people.
And that worried me. Like growing up, like in high school, I had like anxiety, like what the hell am I doing with my life? Because I honestly struggled in high school, and then I joined the military. And then,
I almost joined the military because I didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, I went that route. Yeah, you did too. And then I get out, and I just like you develop that maturity, and then I'm sure
Smarter than you guys. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No.
You guys are way more
I
established.
like people going to college if there's like a plan to it. Like that's something I'm like when I go back to when I was going to school as to become a physical therapy assistant. So I was getting that certification, and I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are going to college without a plan, and that's something
100%.
that's always been in my head because I have a lot of friends right now that are graduating with degrees and stuff, and a lot of them are getting great jobs.
Bro.
However, there's a good percentage that are graduating and that are kind of like blaming like society and the government that they can't get a job. Like they're blaming everyone but themselves with their shitty degree. Like,
Well,
and now
at
they
that
have to
point,
pay
I
off
think
that loan and they realize that their degree is useless. And that's scary. And it is a scary thing.
Yeah.
Especially when you've been told your whole entire life, like, hey, you have to get this thing in order to be successful. And now that you have that thing, that's not exactly the case. And I would be pissed off too.
Unfortunately, I'd be more pissed off, like rightfully, at the parents because they're the ones who did not tell you that, hey, all this stuff they're telling you at school about, like, you have to go to college, you have to do this. I want you to know that that's not necessarily the case.
No.
You can, for specific reasons, you can go just to better yourself and you better your knowledge about the world. And that's great. If you want to do that, and there is going to be a burden that comes to you with that. Right. And if that is a choice that you feel like you want to make, 100% go to town. But like, I feel like there's a lot of parents out there that should be telling their kids like the reality of what happens when you go to college.
Well,
absolutely.
Not just the dream of what happens after college.
Let me push back on that just a little bit, right? For right now, I don't disagree with that because that's the reality of the situation right now. But as far as a lot of the people that we're talking about are people my age, John's age. John is only 1 year older than me, and Jordan went to school. We graduated school together. So
I'm still the old man in the room.
How old are you?
Okay. 30. I'll be 33 in a couple weeks.
So I didn't know until like a month ago that he was
26.
that close to my age. I thought he was way closer to your
That's
age.
10 years.
I just found that out.
I think the beard is relatively new since I saw you last.
But when we were growing up, and I've had many discussions with my mom about this, right? When we were growing up, it was still the reality from our parents' point of view that a degree was the way to get more money and have a better job. That was still the reality. So while I agree, I wish that my mom would have said, you also have the ability to do these other things. That was not the profitable way to live at that time. You could still make a bunch of money doing those things. But when my mom was in school and when she was taught the mentality of how to live, the best way to do it was to get a college degree and get yourself a better job. Because at that time, not as many people had them. It wasn't as easy to access. There wasn't the federally secured loans and stuff like that. You weren't guaranteed a ticket to college if you could get into a school. You still had to have money, still had to secure funding. It's not that way anymore. Anybody can go to college because anybody can get a federally secured loan. Right now, that's not the reality. When my mom was growing up, when she learned how to operate as a human being, that was the reality.
So realistically, I'm looking at this thing being as young, relatively, as I am, with hindsight and going, oh, you motherfuckers should have known this. You should have seen this coming. If everyone's going to college, college is meaningless. But that seems relatively, in hindsight.
So I don't disagree with either of you, but from my point of view, I look way more on the kids that went to school. Because I am that kid. I'm 25 years old. So all the kids that I know that are coming back from school now that have, we know there are 3 people that I work with that have the same type of degree that have the exact same job that I do.
That's very true.
And 2 of them, I've worked there longer than they have. You know what I'm saying? That is not uncommon. There are no shortage of people that I know that went to school, got a degree, came back, work in the shipyard. Something they could have done had they stayed here after they graduated, and they would be earning more money and have less debt overall. Even if they got a scholarship, they would have less debt.
So at this point, really,
I blame the individuals who, one, chose to go to college, because I chose not to go to college because I did not want to get a federally secured loan, because that's the only way I could have done it. I didn't want to get a Fed loan. I didn't want to get any loan. I didn't want to owe someone that much money without having a job. I also blame...
A lot of people don't even understand what that is still.
And for that I blame the education system, but that's another discussion, right? I also blame the kids who chose to go to school for not, like you said, not getting a degree in something that will benefit you in the end. Because if you have a degree...
Real fast.
Yeah.
Follow, Micro, great thing he said is, don't follow your passions, take them with you. And I feel like people go to college with that mentality. They follow their passions. And then not only that, when they try to follow those passions and they realize that, like, hey, that passion's really hard to get to. And if you want to be a doctor, that's really hard. And a lot of kids realize, or a lot of students realize that, like, hey, I can't exactly be a doctor. I don't really have the mental capacity to do that. And they downgrade and they go back and they go into this other job that they're not exactly passionate for. And they kind of do this career not as good as they could. And I feel like we have a lot of that in today's world. We have a lot of people in job fields that they're not exactly, wanting in the first place. Good example, your dudes that with their degrees, that's probably not the job that they're hoping for out of college.
And I don't,
I don't know though. I could be wrong about that.
And I'm not shitting on them at all because
I'm happy. Like I'm pro college. If you want to go there, like I'm going to college and stuff, and I'm going there for the education. I'm really happy. For past few quarters, I'm going there for my own personal to higher my education, and I have a plan for that though.
Yeah, I mean there are a lot of people who, and this is just to be clear, is not denigrating anyone's life choices. Yeah, but there are a lot of people who choose to get degrees in things that do not apply to practical occupations afterwards. For example, these are examples of degrees that, in my opinion, have very limited practical occupational application post-college education, right? A women's studies degree would have limited occupational application.
Except within the university system itself.
Limited occupational application, right? A communications degree will have limited occupational application. A degree in history will have limited occupational application. A degree in critical race theory will have limited occupational application. Yeah. That is not to lessen the quality of these degrees or how much they mean or how hard these people had to study to get them. Because they still...
theory, we could...
That's a
whole other discussion.
I agree 100%.
At the end of the day, they still went to school for 4 years to get a degree. Even if we still think half the classes are bullshit, they studied for 4 years to get a degree that they paid however much money for, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, does that give you a better chance to have an occupation that will provide you with a sum of money that will allow you to not only support yourself and your family, but do things that you want to improve your life, those around you, and your community? And in a lot of those cases, those four, for example, that's not the case. Unless you're going to be an educator, those degrees are not going to help you in a lot of ways. For management, some of those things will help you in management cases, But even then, that's experience you could get if you got a job at a high school, became a manager, and was a manager for 3 years. I have more management experience than you do with your communications degree because I've been a manager for 3 years.
Yeah. I know how to deal with people and how they work. Okay?
So again, I'm not saying those don't have value because those degrees, like many things in the world, have whatever value, this is going to sound so shitty, have whatever value you place in them personally.
Exactly.
If those are things that you care deeply about, then that is extremely important that you spent 4 years to study critical race theory, to be as educated as you can be on that
Yeah,
topic.
but
right?
you can't be mad at
that people don't
Yeah.
want to give you a job because your degree doesn't mean shit to be an electrical engineer because you got a degree in fucking critical race theory.
Absolutely.
I would rather give the job to Carolina's dad, who at least has a fucking engineering degree, even if it's not being an electrical engineer. I'd rather give him the job than someone who has a degree in fucking critical race theory because it doesn't mean shit to this job, even in the slightest. Horrible example, but just... You know what I'm saying?
I get it though.
You work in an electrical plant.
So just comparing two people with degrees that even
Check
have
that out.
limited application to the job, I would rather give it to the guy who at least was some form of engineer than someone who's like, well, I have a degree.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't, and it's so many people have them that it doesn't even matter anymore. People are just like, we prefer for you to have a degree.
Well, because I think part of the disconnect in this higher education system, right, is this aspect and concept of you getting a job after you graduate, right?
Yeah.
When you go in for a history degree, right, I would be down as fuck to go get a history degree.
Fuck yeah, I love
absolutely.
history.
Because and so what would I do with my history degree? I wouldn't go out and try to find a job that requires a history degree. That might be kind of cool. Maybe work at a museum or some shit. But like at the end of the day, if I'm that passionate about a history, and if anybody has ever actually studied history before, you realize the vast majority of what you're going to do with history
Just study history.
is fucking study and write about history.
Yeah.
Write a book.
So, hey, I really love
It's
history.
independent.
I want to write books about what I think about historical situations and blah, blah, blah. So I go get a history degree to better myself and to better understand my knowledge and how to get, and how to get to that knowledge. And then I'm going to go back out and apply my degree in my writing so that I can make money for my writing about history. You could do the same things with women's studies or critical race theory. I mean, white fragility and how to be an anti-racist, I think are fucking proof positive that those two things can work if you go get those degrees. Mind you, that's a totally different.
You're right.
Isolated system.
If you get it in the right thing, you can use it as a cudgel against other people that you have a degree in this thing that you've studied for X amount of time.
But that disconnect of going to college to get a job is the wrong way to think about college. You need to go to college to get knowledge. You get knowledge, and then it's up to you to do whatever the fuck with it that you want to.
Absolutely.
Right?
Like, I have more knowledge from my college. I do not regret my college
100%.
education so far because I have gained knowledge that I use on the today. Like, my college education so far has been a positive experience because I actually use it. Some people are getting college and not benefiting really from it. They're learning things that are useless, unfortunately to say. Not all classes are exactly going to help you in real life.
And that's
the reality of it.
That's partially a market failure, too, when it comes to capitalism, because what kind of business would require a piece of paper to show I know X?
Yeah.
If anybody has gone to school at all, you realize that you can forget shit that you go to school to learn.
Even high school.
Right?
Yeah.
What does that piece of paper show you other than at this one point in time, I had enough knowledge in this rough area, given this curricula, to have this level of knowledge in this specific kind of set of, concepts and ideas.
Yeah. Right.
But now I have to go to work and I have to apply that into a practical fashion. There's no way to know whether my knowledge will transfer into the practical, that this business owner will make money off of me because X reason. Because I required a 4-year degree for whatever reason. I had a 4-year degree required for this or a 2-year degree required for this job. Nothing to say that somebody that did not have a college degree could not do that if they got the knowledge beforehand to do that specific job.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of a cascading systemic failure that just ruins fucking society.
Yeah. And there are those degrees, though, that do definitely require their education, like doctors and stuff. And obviously, like, my wife's a great example
Very
of
technical,
that.
very technical jobs require very technical training.
My wife's an accountant, and, she has her bachelor's, I think, in accounting, and she's an accountant at Grundens and stuff. She loves her job and stuff, and she's been thinking about going for a higher education.
Shout out, Olivia.
Yeah, shout out to my wife, Olivia.
Yeah.
Love you, babe.
She's awesome.
Yeah. She's wanting to go for a higher education, and she's definitely for her, that's someone I'd suggest college for. Like most college students I see getting out, like I'd be like, maybe hold off, find out more about yourself. Like that's something that my mom tried to push on me. Like most as a Filipino kid, my mom tried to push the whole nurse thing on me out of high school. Like
how did she tell you that, John?
She straight up told me, like, John, you should be a nurse. All your cousins are nurses. the nurse, they make plenty of money. You go do the classes.
I had to get one pulled out.
Of course,
of it, so
yeah. So of course I was just like, I don't want to be a nurse. Like, there's nothing about being a nurse. Like, it's a great job. Yeah, I was like, yeah, possibly. Like, that sounds cool. But she
all the
was
Filipinos
like,
are nurses.
Yeah, and it's a great job. It makes sense. They're great at it. You know, Filipinos bust their ass off, but it just
very
it
compassionate
wasn't
too.
Me, yeah. And I went in the military instead. But like, I'm very happy I went that direction. My sister, she did kind of go for the nursing thing, and it wasn't really her thing. And then she tried a different few things, and now she worked for Disney for a while, and now she's working in filmmaking in Albuquerque, which is cool. And she was fortunate where she followed her passions, but it paid off in the long run. Like, she was one of those few people that went to college, and like, her passion was filmmaking, and she paid off. She did do the hustle, and now she is finally where she wanted to be. And, you know, there are those people that do pay off and they do follow those passions. But a lot of people need to realize, like, even though you are following those passions, like my sister, that job that she just got, like, wasn't a guarantee for her. She had to do a lot of, like, driving. She could have, like, gave up and, like, just went to, you know, another direction.
Yep.
But that's something that a lot of college kids, I feel like, aren't really, willing to put in. You know, a lot of kids, I feel like, in today's society, not a lot of people are willing to put in, and or even actually have the direction on where they want to go in life. Like,
it's almost like everybody's life is so individualistically, you know, carved. Their path is so singularly carved by whatever decisions and choices they want to make. It almost seems kind of frivolous to assume that there should be a single path that everyone should be on during your entire adolescence so that you could be better off in the end. Because it doesn't make sense.
Right. No, I think I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. And that, especially in the public school system, I would, especially, and let me know if you agree with this, but especially having a son that in the next 4 or 5 years is potentially entering the public school system, I would like to have some form of comfort in the knowledge that when he gets to high school, there will be people telling him, you have any number of options when you leave here. Whether that is to try and get an internship while you're in school, while you're in high school, in a local company so you can work there when you're done. Or if you want to just get a regular job, take some time off and find out what you want to do.
And you want that knowledge while you're in high school, right? You want that knowledge given to students while they're in high school.
Certainly by the time they're in high school.
That makes sense, right? Were you given that knowledge when you were in high school?
No.
I wasn't exactly.
When I was in school, there was still, well, just to finish this thought, I would like him to know, and your daughters to know, and all of the students that go through this school district.
And they're going to listen to this.
To know that
there are other options.
That when they're there, that there are other options.
Yeah.
That they're like, I don't mean for them to know now, but I mean when they're in school, for them to be told by their advisors, by their teachers, that you can go to college if you want, you can hang out here and work for a while if you want, you can go to West Sound Tech if you want, and you can learn some vocational skills there, and you can take those and apply them to a better job when you're done. You can just try and get on to a good job when you're done. Like, you have these other options, or you can go to school. You can, like, and it's
Did you know those options when you were in high school?
Not as viable.
I did not.
They were there.
If I would have known workforce degrees in high school, I would have immediately jumped on that boat.
We knew about the alternative school, but the alternative school was built for kids who they couldn't go to regular school. You know, whether they were drug addicts or like our pregnant friend Haley was having a baby, so she went to the alternative school. So it was built as like, Haley's great. She has a fantastic job. Yeah. That was just.
I have a lot of friends that did the same track, and now they're like, they work for a living, and now they're like complaining about everybody complaining about college. Yeah.
And
now they're like, well, I'm a working man. Like, why are you guys complaining?
I think the only other, and then like we knew about West Sound Tech, but that was also for like, oh no, like you only really want to go there if you're like a fuck up. Like that's
only the fuck ups go to the old schools.
I think the only other like viable alternative to regular high school was like Running Start. Like there was a big push for Running Start. Yeah, doing college courses instead of high school courses. That was, I think, the only other thing that like that's the good thing to do. If
See,
you're not
in
going to
my
do this,
head-
you should do this.
Yeah, in my head, I feel like that's the problem. I feel like they should be promoting definitely. When I was in Australia, when I was 16, I vacationed over in Australia for a while, and I noticed in their high school they kind of push trade off like at a very earlier age. Like in junior year, you can go with your dad to work, like junior year of high school, and go work with him as a boilermaker or a welder and stuff, and learn that.
If he has a trade,
Sweet.
Yeah,
that's pretty
Some
cool.
of the
That's something that you can actually use in the real world.
Thing.
Yeah.
Which is very cool, I think.
And that's something I wish that that's definitely an idea that I'd like to exercise with, stateside.
You know what the deal is back the original way we used to educate our next generation, right, was generally these super small fucking boom towns out in the West and shit, right, with single schoolhouse, and you got a general education, and then you just did whatever it was that you were going to do, right?
Yeah.
But we've carried that kind of same mentality through now our systemic education to say like, well, yeah, by the time you graduate 12th grade, you've been in school for 12 plus years at this point, right?
13, 12 and a half, 13, yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's a lot.
But now you just have you have a base general education. So now you can go up in the world and go figure it the fuck out. But we have this perception now that once you're done with your general ed, you just immediately have to take on this massive financial burden to go off to school so that you can learn how to
need more.
Yeah, so that you can figure out, you can actually go get a job now that will, like, you'll be able to come out of college and get a good job versus if you just had one of those, you're going to be
if you get the right degree at the time.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And you move to the right area. Because
but even before you go that far, it's just that the elevation to go to college versus once you're done with high school, your gen ed's over, and then it's like, well, fucking good luck, buddy.
Yeah,
Peace.
yeah, absolutely.
There's no thought of starting your life at 18 when you graduate school. It's like really, it's like there's some hints of it. At least when I went, it was like, oh yeah, no, your real life is about to start tomorrow. Like when you graduate tomorrow, like that's for real now. Like this is all just this. You just been in school.
Well, and I think that's part of why we still, I mean, even at like 25, we still think of college kids as college kids. They're not adults who are furthering their education like we expect them to be. They're college kids, and if they, fucking people get raped and whatever, people get drunk and they drink too much water at a fucking frat party and they die because they were like, whoever can drink the most water gets into the frat, like. Shit like that happens all the time. We're like, kids will be kids, And like, well, but they're also legal adults that we expect to act like fucking adults because when they're done, and especially in today's fucking cancel culture, because when they're done, we're going to hold them to this standard that they can't uphold because we've expected them to be children this whole time, and whatever they fucking done, we don't give a shit. But if you didn't keep your nose clean, you better watch the fuck out because you might get canceled 5 years from now just when you're starting to get good money. Because we let you be a kid when you were 19. And I'm not saying that you should instantly, be held to this crazy serious standard of like no mistakes. But there's like a certain license given when you're like, oh, kids will be kids, Yeah. You're allowed. When I was 18, that's not the point of view I got because I fucking stayed here and I had to have a job. I had to show up to work. If I had a job that started at 4:00 in the morning, I could only not show up because I was drunk so many times before I lost my job. I didn't get to just keep going and, oh, well, I guess I'll just take another class next semester and then whatever happens, happens, So like that's not how it works. And the different standard just because of the difference of venue, I think is ridiculous, because the argument certainly today is that, college kid has so much work they have to do, this many hours of course load, this many hours of take home homework, this much stuff. And then, you have to have a job because you can't afford to live in college with just your whatever. So if I'm working 50 hours a week, why am I held to a completely different standard from someone who I'm told is doing the exact same thing that I'm doing for less money because they're fucking stupid? Why? Because I didn't want to go to school? That's dumb, And I know this an extreme case, but like you can't rape somebody when you're 19 years old and you have a regular job and expect the school board to only do what they're going to do, expect to maybe only do fucking 6 months in prison or whatever what fucking Brock Turner did. Like that, you know what I'm saying? That type of shit doesn't happen when you're an actual adult on the street living just a normal life, not even a nefarious life, a regular life.
And that's the problem, I think. And now we have a generation that are getting out of there, and now they're in the real world, and they're like, "Let us lead it. We know so much. Like we were in college this whole time, and now let us we know about Marxism, communism.
Where you can riot for 40 days in Portland, and when you get arrested, your roommate will shit on the person who's posting your mugshot on the internet for what you did, saying they're lying like a bitch." Right? That's what will happen because you've gone to school and you know so much better. You know so much more. This is the way to be. This is how I need to live. But then when I do get arrested and someone who's an actual legitimate fucking blue checkmark reporter on Twitter posts my face and my crime on Twitter, he's doxing me. He's doxing me by putting my personal information on Twitter. This public thing that he found on a publicly held website, he's doxing me. And I want all of my friends and everyone I know to report him and get him taken the fuck down.
It's not how...
I can't do that.
Not how any of this
I can't
works.
even spread my own fucking message of personal liberty and freedom because it's racist and it's against the system. That's ridiculous.
That's the woke culture.
Somebody who's my age graduated the same year as me.
I can't believe that.
The same year as me.
No, that's...
Has someone, their friend, rioting in Portland. Can't believe that someone might post something, a picture of them that's held on a publicly held forum on the internet. How fucking blasphemous. Ridiculous. I can't even advocate for my black friend to openly or concealed carry a firearm without acting like I'm inciting some sort of potential fucking violence. That's ludicrous to me. We have a friend, saw it today, the friend we talked about earlier. Voting for Donald Trump is an act of violence against LGBT. An act of violence.
Now we're fucking with words.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's the problem. That's not an act of violence.
An act of violence.
This is an act of violence.
Not only justifies your own acts of self-defense, right? Of soliciting violence because someone's committed against you. It absolves you of any responsibility and legally, socially, anything. Because they did something violent to me. Mm-hmm. It justifies everything. It's beyond ludicrous. And if you even say you're misusing this word, you're a liar. You're not down with the cause. You're against the fucking power right now. You're not down. You don't love black people.
You're racist.
And that's, I can't even believe it. I can't believe
it's the woke culture, man.
Bastardization of the English language, dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's... Black people are literally being hunted by police in the streets every day. Literally, that is what's happening, Colin.
Literally.
Except it's not.
That's another bastardization of a word, is literally.
Literally.
In the woke culture, literally means, I suppose.
Black people are literally lesser human beings, treated as lesser human beings than white people in this country. Literally.
What was the article?
Every single one. It's patently fucking ludicrous.
Yeah.
And for some reason, that message is more socially acceptable than one that we have tried to propagate since the beginning of this, that we support equality for all people, regardless of race, color, creed, ethnicity, or religion. Doesn't matter. We don't give a fuck. But that's not good enough. Right?
One more thing. Oh, we're going to talk about cancel culture now, essentially.
Oh, we're fucking in it, dog.
We're in it. So, talk to John about cancel culture real quick while I pee. And then, because there was I've had more conversations with the homie that hit us up on Twitter. I've had more conversations with him, and I would like to go over a couple of those with you guys. Yes. Especially John being here, because he's not clued into those at all, so it's like a fresh take.
Which article were you talking about?
The one that, damn it, which one we were talking about? Fuck, I can't remember right now.
Was it when we were working out the other day?
Yeah.
Oh, and Tim Pool, he has that pulled up. It's this Twitter feed that someone ran through like a list of things that are being called racist, you know?
Yeah.
And it was fucking like camping was one of the things.
Oh, no. It was the one that, why, black people don't like to go to parks as much and stuff. There's an article
it was on Start Here. That was on one of the podcasts I was listening to, and they were talking about, the racial disparities of camping in national parks and how there is a stigma that black people face when they're camping that, well, why are black people in the woods, you know? And that this reporter said that he asked one of his black friends, let me know if you listen to this episode of Start Here when they're talking about the racial disparities of camping. Disparities of camping. It was a little much. The reporter says that he's like, so I decided to ask, someone that I knew, and they said, well, I don't go camping because when black people go into the woods, they don't come out. What? And that's why black people don't like to go camping, is because they are all afraid that they'll be murdered if they go into the woods, because historically that's what happens, right? So as to fight this as a white person, do your job. If you're camping at a campsite and the person next to you is black, do not ask them what brings them to the woods. Do not ask them why they are there. Do not.
Don't be neighborly.
Question them in any way.
Don't be nice.
As to why they are camping, because you're going to make them uncomfortable, because they're already likely the only black people in that campsite. And you're going to make them feel even more uncomfortable and even more unwelcome if you say, what brings you here? To a national park.
Even if you got too many burgers and you have to share them, don't you down.
Don't ask. Because it's going to make them uncomfortable.
That is the most insane thing I've ever heard.
Am I to believe that every black person in this country is so sensitive
that's that I can't
thing.
Even
ask them?
That's racist.
Why?
Let me phrase it like this, right?
What the fuck?
Why?
And I don't think that's a ludicrous interpretation for me to have. I can't even ask another person. So at the end of the day, they're fucking just people, right? I can't ask another person if we're in a national park, which bring people from all over the globe, not just the country, but the globe. I can't ask, what brings you here? Because you might be actually from fucking Africa. You might have come to America from Africa to camp because you're like, dog, I want to go to Yellowstone so bad. I've been seeing pictures of it my whole life, and I want to go to Yellowstone. And you decide to bring your family to Yellowstone. I shouldn't ask because it might be fucking offensive to you. So that seems ludicrous to me.
Technically, then, by the laws of intersectionality, that means like Discovery Channel, Travel Channel, Net Geo, they all need to be canceled because they're racist.
Yeah,
that's. If you carry that logic all the way out. And that's where it stops. Because you're telling me that I can't go interact with another human being in the middle of the woods because it might be racist.
I've seen two other people that I know personally, one very personally, one just personally, that have spoken openly on the internet of their people of color, right? And I hate it because I don't even want to boil it down to this is why this matters, because they're people of color, right?
Well, if you're going to talk to them...
But that's all that matters, especially right now, right?
If you're going to talk to the intersectional crowd, if you have any hope of reaching somebody that has been taken by the far left, you have to try to speak their language in some form.
One person I know very intimately, one person that I just know, right, that have spoken openly of their discontent with how far the woke and cancel culture has gone, right?
Oh, yeah.
To the effect of one specifically speaking about Aunt Jemima, right? Fuck it. My Uncle Del Brico, right? Enormous black man. Pretty sure he's from fucking Alabama, right? They cancel Aunt Jemima and he's like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. Wow. He's like, it's fucking maple syrup. Just give me my maple syrup. Like, it's not. He's like, his daughter, my cousin Malaya, I think she's 16 years old, right? I had the most wonderful conversation with her last week, Colin. You would be so thrilled.
During 4th of July?
Yes. I figured. Right? I don't remember exactly. She posted something about, Second Amendment advocates not coming out in support of like Breonna Taylor, right? Or conservatives not coming out in support of Breonna Taylor. And so I said, just for reference, she's half black, she's half Latino. My Aunt Kara's Latino and white, she's half and half, and then her dad is my Uncle Del Brico. And so she's
kind of like we don't care because they're just family and friends.
But again, just to quantify it, right? And she started like, I don't want to like misclaim, but like, a black teen group in her school, right? That they met all the time. I don't know what it's called. So I'm sorry, Malaya, but, and she's been at the protest consistently in Eugene, consistently out there, for absolute positive peace. She's 16, so positive, peaceful protest. I've seen videos. Her dad was there. Her mom was there. They are only peaceful people, very Second Amendment, super, they're my family, so totally reasonable.
It's Eugene.
Right. And so
gun-toting granola
and
crunchy
so-
hippies. That's
That's
the
a
way
good
we
cut of cloth of people down there.
So I sent her a message and I was like, hey, like, I don't know. Because what she posted was like someone's tweet, that was like turned into a meme. And so I was like, I don't know, like what you're listening to or what this person's listening to. But like of all of the conservative people that I listen to, all of them have come out in support of Breonna Taylor and, against no-knock raids, like all these things. I was like, so I don't know, like, where they're getting this and blah, blah, blah. And so we talked for a while and ended up, like, breaking down that she was referring more to individuals, like people, like regular citizens that are gun-toting Second Amendment citizens that are quiet in specifically on Breonna Taylor because it's like part of this whole deal, and she says she's experienced that herself personally. So I cannot discount her personal experience of people she knows that are in favor of the Second Amendment that for whatever reason, will not or haven't spoke out strongly enough against the killing of Breonna Taylor, right? Everyone has their own choice. And
Although it's important to note that silence doesn't necessarily mean
no, and that's not what she's saying. That's not what she's saying. Because that's a whole separate conversation that her and I did not get into, right? 100%. And that's what she's saying was not from a point of like, you motherfuckers need to speak up, but she was saying very much that they were providing inconsistencies in the things that they were saying, right?
And that's tough.
And I said to her, I said, there is. I cannot deny that. So because I've been so selective with the people that I have spoken to about all of these things, but just know that like this community is in support of this, like these things are not going unnoticed. Like it maybe doesn't get the continued coverage that it deserves because other things happen. And I can speak personally from hosting a show. It's really hard to focus on one thing for too long, even if it's extremely important.
Oh yeah.
Because
there's something new tomorrow.
Right.
Or later that night.
And she was just 100% integral. It was awesome. It was great for her to have these so strong and passionate views and still be so understanding of the same thing we experienced with Shelby, having very strong, firmly held views, but being so accepting of the other views around them. That is
when we go to Oregon next May, we'll bring the laptop. We'll swing by Eugene on the way down.
It's going largely unseen on social media, So that's who his daughter is, and he's like fucking Aunt Jemima, fucking Aunt Jemima, because that was the whole point of this whole thing, that it's someone whose family and himself is that ingratiated in what's going on right now, is still like, this is going too far now. It's too much. This is not what we're upset about, Yeah. And my other friend who was upset about that was her exact point, was this is taking away from the message. This is not what anyone is talking about, and all of this symbolic bullshit that people are doing, companies, cities, cities, mayors, all this stuff. It's just symbolic. What's that?
Lady A,
yeah. Lady Antebellum.
Oh my God.
It's now Lady A.
But they're in a legal battle fighting a woman, an artist, a black female artist.
Yeah, has been using that for how many years?
Who is already established as Lady A, and they're in a court battle for the name.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's funny how intersectionalism leads to racism, isn't it?
The Dixie weird? Chicks are no longer the Dixie
Chicks.
Just
the chicks.
Yes.
They're just the chicks, which seems awful sexist to me, but that's just me.
Yeah,
So anyway.
Well, women are not as high as marginalized people of colors.
It's only one intersectional point, right?
Yes.
So my point, even though these are just two people that I know, right? They're two people that are deeply down for the cause of what's going on right now. My uncle's not super consistent on social media, but I obviously know where he stands. And my other friend who was speaking out against all these different things, this list of things on Twitter, right?
Say that Pancake Syrup is part 11 of things that are racist.
So she is down with the cause, consistent with what she's doing, right? Still, this is taking away from what we're talking about. Like, this is not what we're talking about. No one gives a shit about Lady fucking A, or, sorry to put my hand in your face, or, fucking camping, or national parks, or fucking any of this other nonsense that's being roped into this, like, overreaching cause of intersectional systemic racism. Like, and we've talked about 1,000 times. I'm not saying that doesn't exist in some facets.
Yeah.
But to to extend it into fucking maple syrup.
Just know that
to Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering. Magic the
It
Gathering.
seems
Magic the Gathering. What's wrong with Magic the Gathering?
Big white box over there.
there's
racist cards, bro.
so have you ever
Racist?
played Magic the Gathering
Is it
before?
racist now?
Have you ever played it before?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's like white and black magic, you know? So because some of those cards affect black creatures and white creatures.
Oh man.
So
It's racist.
What about the Power Rangers, dude?
So
Don't bring up the power. Don't cancel the
I
Power
love
Rangers.
the Power Rangers, Don. Don't even talk about it. So
Okay,
Can you imagine that one?
I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago, I had my wife Carolina start listening to the book 1984.
oh man.
And I said,
that?
wow, what?
What?
1984 by George
I have
Orwell?
a copy. You have to read it. It's
Okay.
only like this big. It will
It's-
not take you long.
It's going to kind of ruin your life.
It'll make you cry.
Yeah.
Back to the failing American education system.
Yeah.
Word.
Amen.
I grew up in New Mexico.
1984 is a classic novel of a dystopian society in which government controls every facet of your life, down to the job that you have, the communications, the
Yeah.
news.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was George Orwell. Yeah, it was.
Communism
Yep.
followed through by 100 years.
Yes.
Is what this book is.
Boy, how does it turn out?
Horrible.
Horrible.
Of
Not
course it does.
not well, but
Death. Murder of millions of people is exactly
Yes.
how it turns out.
yeah.
Every
I mean,
time.
there's
Every single
perpetual
time.
wars that may or may not
That's-
actually exist.
That's my problem
History
about
rewritten over and
Yeah.
over and over
Yeah.
again.
when I argue with a lot of my communist friends and stuff. Like, I hate how they're like, "Oh, it just wasn't done right before,"
Oh,
and it's like,
God.
no, it
So
always
No.
is. Like, you can't pretend that communism has killed millions of people.
Right.
yeah.
You can't pretend it's killed millions of people in Venezuela, Russia, and stuff. And I feel like the reason why, like, the difference between communism and the reason why communism people don't like hate it as much as Nazism is because when communism you kill your own people, Nazis you're killing other people.
Or like
It's the
fascism,
same kind
yeah.
of idea. It's like
But the
it's the government rules all of
Both
that.
structures of power and control.
Yeah, you can never you can't control like people can like get power hungry. You can't trust people all the time.
Period.
That's the main thing like in government.
communism, you got to understand, runs off of the back of fascism.
Right.
Because the fascist entity, even the most idealistic landscape, communist landscape, utopia, the state at that point is now the dictator. He's just a benevolent dictator.
Socialism
Yeah.
is fascism through a different name only.
Yes,
That's-
it's through
Absolutely.
the
Different
system
name and
itself
function,
at
yeah,
that
but-
point. The system of government
Right.
is fascistic.
as opposed to one individual.
Yes.
So actually, on that note, though, if we did live in a communist world, this is a question I've been asking people. What would job like? No matter what your job, if you got to have your dream job and made the exact amount of money as everyone else did, like in a communist
word.
world, what would your job be?
Oh,
If you would make
so
as
like-
much money as a doctor, no matter what your
Yeah.
job would be, as long as you're doing it good, what would your job be?
Like,
Oh, fuck
if I
God.
could do anything, or
Like,
what do I think
if I
would
wanted to be a
assigned
janitor because I like being a janitor, I'll be being a janitor making like $26 an hour.
Oh, ooh.
Can I say
good-
bush pilot?
Push pilot.
Bush pilot.
Let's push pilot.
Like
small planes?
a small planes that run
Yeah.
they run people and cargo
Yeah.
through areas that not normal like cargo planes can fly in.
Yeah. If like money wasn't a thing, what would
Yeah.
be your dream job?
I'd
You'd do that?
be I'd be flying planes
But-
through some crazy
Really?
ass canyons
Yeah,
and shit.
but it's in
100,000%.
a communist society, right?
Word.
Like that's what we
in the
Well, that's-
utopia, in the idea that communism
Oh.
actually worked. Like, because that's the idea of communism.
Oh,
Let's say if it
okay.
did work out.
if you could have your dream job
So, like-
because money wasn't a
Yeah.
factor.
I would-
Yeah,
I would
the
be a
idea of
radio
communism,
host.
like people that say that, I know good
yeah.
people
Yeah.
that are communists and stuff. Like their idea of, like in their head, in their heart, they think that they're doing the right thing. A lot of people follow that, in my opinion, bullshit.
So
In
let me
thinking that it's
just-
so, and let's
well,
pretend that it did work and we
It's
did become
not
that
bullshit.
utopia.
First of all, it's not morally to assume that you want communism, to assume that you want everybody to be equal isn't necessarily immoral off the bat. It's only immoral once you look at how you get to the ends of it.
application.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
It,
that's actually
it would not happen because of the human
the,
error.
the true meaning of America, essentially, at that point, would kind of fit some of those, like the people that want communism. You know, this if we didn't have the system of government that we currently do that interferes in our lives as much as they do,
Yeah.
like a communist in 2020 would probably be pretty happy because they could kind of just do whatever they fucking wanted to.
It starts out nice, right?
Yeah.
It starts out nice. Communism and like socialism starts out nice, but it never ends nice.
That's
true.
the thing. It always
So-
ends up. I gotta run real quick. I'll be right back.
That's fine. So let me run you through my thought process when you asked me that, because it took me a minute, because I was thinking of in a communist society, right? So my first answer was a radio host.
Let's say like utopia.
Right.
Utopia
Well, so
communist, like where
this
it
is
went
only
out and everything worked out.
the only reason I say this is because I think it's funny, right? Because ultimately the answer to your question is a radio host. If I could do anything, I would want to be a radio host.
Nice.
Right? And that was my initial answer. But then I was thinking you meant in a communist society. And so I'm like, I want to be a radio host. I'm like, no.
And then you'd be like,
because I don't want to be a radio host who has to
lie to everyone.
propaganda, right?
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah,
like, okay, so
yeah,
not
yeah.
that. So maybe I would want to be a teacher, right? I'm like, well, then I have to teach something specific that like I'm not then pushing propaganda. I'm like, well, so maybe writing. I'm like, no, because then what I can have people write about is limited, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, like I don't know. What do I want to do in a place where I don't have free expression? Because that's like, that's what communism is. Communism lived out to its truest extent in the world is that where you can maybe choose the job that you want and do whatever you want, but it's not going to be how you want it.
Wow.
You know, that I could, in a pure, beautiful communist society, I might be able to pick to be a radio host, but I can't be a radio host for the reason that I want to be a radio host. I can't do it because I want to express free speech and inspire other people to express free speech and to, just be honest and have a good life. Like you can never
actually do that in that society.
I can't be a teacher because I want to teach the youth to think independently. And
you're going to be being a teacher because what the government's going to tell you to
exactly.
teach.
I have
in
to
the government's whatever the government wants you to, the narrative they want you to spend, you're going to do that.
That's
what we see.
Even in an art
countries.
like painting or writing, you could write something in which they say you are not allowed to say that, and they
can restrict movies. They can restrict ways of your expression. They can restrict the way you think.
Ai Weiwei is a Chinese dissident painter. He's a painter, and they are, he has to hide. He's hiding around the globe because he's painting things that the government doesn't approve of. Like there was someone in Hong Kong who was arrested for putting a flag on the ground that said Hong Kong independence. Because they just passed that new law of national security laws that are now crimes in Hong Kong that you can be tried in Beijing for saying things against Beijing in Hong Kong. There's all this whole list of things that they no longer have in Hong Kong. That's supposed to be a completely autonomous zone from China. So for simply displaying a flag on the ground that said Hong Kong independence, he was arrested.
Yeah,
didn't even have it in his hand. It's on the ground in front of him, and he was arrested.
Yeah, that's the reality of it.
And that is how that plays out.
Yeah. And people, fail to recognize that, I think. And in their minds, I feel like in their hearts, they have the right idea, but it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
And then in my head, we could pretend, in my mind, I feel like in a La La Land where that did work out, imagine if it didn't work out, where it did work out positively, the likeliness of that, and that one Black Mirror's episode where communists, it worked, oh my God. Yeah. But it actually it will never, because human common error, people with too much power, abuse it at some point.
Right.
And, that's why that'll never happen. But if it did, what would be your job? What if, money wasn't really mattered? What job would you be? What job would you be? What job would you have?
We're asking my wife, Jordan, just so everyone on the podcast knows. Okay.
Yeah. Hey.
Just because I don't know where he went.
I'm not sure.
So
I wouldn't be happy in a communist society. It wouldn't matter.
So this is utopia.
This is utopia. Let's just pretend. Let's pretend that money wasn't of a thing.
Yeah. This is utopia.
You gotta have whatever job you want for a good wage.
This is actual perfect society. You can do
perfect society. You can do whatever you want, and you are gonna make the amount of money that you need to sustain yourself and your family.
There's just enough people in the world. You can do whatever you want.
You're gonna be making $26 an hour no matter what. Let me just put it that way. That's a good pay. That's good money. I'd be happy 26 for an hour. I'd do anything else. I would sweep the parking lot for 26.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So I'm going to share my first thoughts. I understand this is not the point of the question, but this is my first
Go
thought.
ahead.
Hit us.
Is because what I like to do, we were talking about, I love marketing.
Marketing.
You know, I love
Interesting.
marketing. I want to make something that someone is passionate about grow so other people can experience it so they can share that. You, like we were talking, I was like, you should be an internet famous dad. Because you're, like Colin said, you're a fun guy. You've got good energy. You've got a beautiful wife and these girls. You have chickens. We could make you an internet famous dad, like, into next week.
Yeah.
The only way that I know I'm successful at that is if you're making a lot of money. So,
yeah, no, that's awesome.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, so
it's
that's
definitely an
not-
art. That's
I'm
an
like,
art.
So that's like a huge motivator for me. Like with baking, like
Yeah.
I'm like, I could bake, but like I do that now where I'm like, I'm not asking people for a ton of money. Like it could be like, I can make whatever money I want baking. So that's like, that's not a motivator for me, but like a thing where I could do like whatever I wanted. I'm like, that's only marked for me by if other people are making lots of money. So like when you're asking me that question, I'm like my brain's going error. Like
It's a weird question,
that's
isn't
not
it?
a real question,
Isn't that
John.
a weird? Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
How
like
that
error.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess if I had to answer, I would bake. If I could
You'd be a
just
baker.
make whatever, you know.
Like you would work at the place in Polesville, the baking place. with
Slice.
Slice. If you were to make $26 an hour at Slice, would you do that for a career?
whatever, you know. I'm like, I would just want to make beautiful cakes all day.
Like, yeah.
Beautiful cakes and cupcakes.
You know how cool that would be,
breads
though?
and
Like,
donuts
imagine
and-
in a perfect world where that could be possible. Like, I can build furniture and make $26 an hour.
Not a fan.
regardless, you know. And
No.
it would never,
No, that is not something
it would
that's
never
enticing
work.
to me.
It would never
No.
work because it
I
just
think
won't. It's not
and
realistic.
that could be my fucking American brainwash,
No,
you know. But
yeah.
I'm like, I mean, yes, you're successful if you're happy. I'm a stay-at-home
If I play
mom
Black
who makes
Mirrors, it'd be cool.
$0,
Yeah.
and I'm very happy. I'm very happy
Absolutely.
staying at home with my son,
Same.
and supporting my
Yeah.
husband who supports our family.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm a stay-at-home
Very
dad, and this is the most
happy with
proud
that.
job I've ever had. And that's gone from the military,
Right.
carpenter, and all kinds of jobs. And being a stay-at-home dad is honestly the most, like, it's difficult in its own way, but it's definitely the most pride job. Like the most job I feel the most pride in. Like, I feel like I'm actually making the most difference being a dad, because I am putting my energy, time, and effort into my two wonderful daughters. And you feel the same way, and it is an important job, and parents need to think of
And
it
I
like
think
that
I
way.
used the perfect word earlier. It's daunting.
It is.
It's
It absolutely
rewarding,
is. Yeah.
Is when your kid turns out awesome, you're like,
Yeah.
that's my new thing lately is when I have success, I make sure I call with my mom and I share that with her because I'm like, my success should be your success.
Absolutely.
You made me. You had the heaviest influence on me in my life. So, like, I feel like that's something I should share with you. You
Yeah,
know?
every time they do that one good habit, every time they learn that new one thing, it's like the biggest one. There's no satisfying thing, I think, than being like a parent. Like every
Yeah,
time the girls like
totally.
pick up something new, I'm like, oh my god, she put her
Totally.
shoes away. And I'll be
You
like,
sit
babe,
down and take your shoes off and put them away.
Yeah,
and
they're
they
like,
do it, and you're like,
yes, I'm a genius.
like,
Yeah,
I'm the best parent because you're the
Yeah.
smartest kid. Boom. Like that's
yeah,
And maybe that's another reason it's hard to answer that question of like the utopian societies because like I feel like, and this fucking womanizer, what am I trying to think? Feminist women everywhere are gonna hate this, but I feel like what Donovan and I have built with our more traditional relationship allows me the opportunity to appreciate something that I don't make money for. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
I have to work harder to find balance in my life because my relationship requires exactly that
Mhm.
balance. He brings the money home. I have to take care of the house. He can't have a good house. Excuse me. He can't have an order house without me, and I can't take care of his house without
And
me.
that's the nuclear
Or house,
family
I should
life.
say. Yeah.
That's
so
the
there's a lot
nuclear
of people
family.
who are like, that's not how that works, blah, blah, blah. But no, I think that so.
And I feel like
maybe
I'm
another
like the
reason
reverse on it.
utopian
I'm on the
society
other end of
doesn't work
that.
Because I'm like,
Yeah,
but then, like, how do you know how hard you have to work for something?
Well, and
absolutely, absolutely.
And I don't feel like you said, you guys are like you and Olivia are like the reverse of that, but I don't feel like you get anything less or the girls get anything less out of it just because the
Yeah.
roles are reversed, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing
Absolutely.
missed with being a stay-at-home dad or having a stay-at-home dad as opposed to having a stay-at-home mom.
The only difference is that my wife is naturally a little bit nurturing. Like the girls do feel a little bit
Right.
nurturing. Like
Right.
my
Yeah.
wife can calm down the girls
There
better
are
than
some-
I do.
yeah.
Like at night, if the girls wake up in the middle of the night and they're crying and I walk in there, they're going to be like, Dad, it's party time.
Boom.
They see Mom, they're like, okay.
Yeah.
They're like, out.
Exactly.
They see Daddy, it's party time. They see Mommy, it's like, oh, there's Mom. They go to Mommy for comfort. They go to Daddy when they want to go, get muddy and chase chickens in the front yard.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. There are definitely, and that's something that would make the feminists mad. There are some things that I think that you...
You're better at that, believe it or not.
And it's not... We
And I accept that. That's something
Dax
as a man I accept.
Last night, we left Dax at Donovan's mom's house. We were both there. We both said bye to him. Last night, he's in the tub. He's realizing that we're not there. He's crying for his mom.
Yeah.
No offense to Donovan.
No.
No fucking offense to Donovan.
Yeah, it's not a favorites thing. It's a mom thing. Yeah.
And then he wants his dad. He wants to know his mom's there, and then he wants
Absolutely.
his dad's there.
That's how it is. That's how it goes.
I'm calling now. Welcome back, Colin.
Thanks, Stuart. Where's Carolina's phone?
Hey, bud.
Round. No.
I don't see it.
I'm not sure.
Either.
Just have a little sip. We'll be right back.
Okay.
I don't know. He's bringing snacks. I'm kidding.
And we were talking, I think Olivia and I were talking about this, I think we were all talking about it, but just how clearly, some of those gender things will show themselves so early, the different things that Dax and the girls are doing, and it's not because we are pushing either any of the three of them in any of those directions, because just anyone listening, John and his wife Livia live across the street, and they have two twin girls that are 6 months or so older than Dax. Yeah,
exactly.
So that's part of how we started spending so much time together. But and so it's not like we essentially raised them all together. Now we spend so much time together, so we don't push them in any different directions. No. They all three do everything
and that's
together.
Something that we've all talked about is that that's something that we make sure we do in the house is there aren't dad does this and mom does this, except for the litter box. Fuck cleaning the litter box. That is dad's job. But
taking out the trash and stuff like that.
He can do. I take out the trash. Yeah. I don't mow the yard because he's got a weird thing about mowing the yard. That's his thing. Because I'm home all day with the kid. He's like,
my wife tries to mow the yard and I prevent her from doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
that's my
anything
thing.
else I'm wholly capable of.
Absolutely.
So even yesterday when you're like, oh, I'm sorry I didn't help you carry that. And I'm like, fuck that. Be proud of me. I'm amazing.
And that's the cool thing as a stay-at-home dad that I can instinct it to my daughters.
Yeah.
As a stay-at-home dad, you see mom working and I'm stay-at-home dad.
Right.
As a stay-at-home dad, that's something that they get to see. Hey, my mom's the one that went to fucking work.
No, daddy has to do the dishes real quick, and then we can do that.
And I'm cool with that. You know? It's not like I'm taking a side seat or anything. My wife and I are working together on this mission. Yeah. I feel like a lot of dudes kind of giggle at me when when I tell them I'm a stay-at-home dad. And I'm like,
how's that?
No, I don't think there was a moment. Maybe 2 solid, and not that I don't still kind of feel this way now, but there was a solid maybe 2 or 3 weeks where I was really, really, really overworking. I didn't want to have a job anymore. I was I would rather.
Not in the petty way.
No, I was upset that I was so much stuff was happening with Dax. He was starting to walk and just learning so quickly, you know, at that time. And I was I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like missing this time. I don't like having to do all this. I don't like you not being able to do this. I don't like, and I do, like I said, it's not that I don't feel that way now. If I had the opportunity, I would love if we could both stay home with Dax, or if I could stay home with Dax, it just doesn't work out that way fiscally right now, which is no one's fault. It's just the reality of the situation. And,
but because of this virus though, you got to stay at home more though, right? And same thing with my wife now. My wife works from home. So now for the COVID, this was good for us because my wife was still able to work and she's able to work from home now. So she's downstairs in the murder garage. I'm working down there. She has her whole office set up there. Heck yeah. We raise chicks in the garage and we work out in the garage and my wife gets her job done in the garage and it's great.
John just had a great segue. We're going to talk about his life during COVID.
And then we're going to be done with the show.
Sweet.
Heck yeah.
Because we're fucking banging out here. But
sorry I missed out. We had
You're good, bro.
Slight doggo.
No, you're good. So
just fine.
Fantastic. Cool. So John was talking about his/our experience during COVID because we've spent so much time together. We were talking about raising kids and stuff like that, and so you were talking about that. Olivia's had more time at home during COVID because she's been working from home.
Yeah.
So has she, from your perspective, enjoyed that extra time at home?
Absolutely. So every couple and every relationship's different. For some people, like, it's hard. Like, a lot of people don't like their time alone. There's times I wish I miss going to work and being a carpenter and going to work and having like me time and having like my work time. That's one.
Yeah.
And every human feels the same way. That's a natural instinct, is to feel purpose, like feel service. All right. That's just a normal thing.
Right.
But like now as a dad, I feel good. I have that same feeling, like being a stay-at-home dad, like nurturing like kids and stuff.
It's just as fulfilling.
It's just as fulfilling. So yeah, there's that. And my wife, she's working from home, and like it's really nice because she can't work at her office. She can still do her job. She's an accountant, so she's working from home, and it's awesome. We get to spend, like, I can go downstairs and check on her. She can come up, have a snack, and see the girls, and we feel like a family. And fortunately, it's been working out great for us.
Is she working out at the murder gym?
She does sometimes.
Nice.
Yeah, she's been kicking ass.
Yeah, get some separation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I did that work from home stuff for a little while, and it is nice to be able to actually cut yourself off from your home life, because you do need to work for a little while.
Yeah.
But the aspect that you're still there.
Yeah.
Is so, I mean, I want to like throw kind of a percentage of importance into it, but like it is so important to your mental health that you are like at your home compared to being at your office.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even though you're doing the exact same work, if you're one of those people who's lucky enough to do that, like Olivia's probably pretty close to being able to do everything she normally does from home, right? And it's really nice because you are home. You can stop and have lunch with your family.
Yeah.
You know, you can have coffee and breakfast in the morning with your family. I mean, you can actually be there at home, but still make a living.
Yeah.
And
And that's one of the positives, I think, of all of this. There's a lot of people that are in the same situation as like they're working from home,
and a
they're with
lot
their
of
families.
people are not going to want to go back because we have proven that we can do this.
Unless you have kids, unless you have like older kids,
Right.
and you're working at home and they're home, and then
The
we see the
schooling-
negatives of that ourselves in our neighborhood.
Yes.
The schooling is a big problem. I've heard the commentary guys. I listen to this podcast called Commentary Magazine Podcast, run by Jod Podhorence, and basically I think his father started it back in the day. But it's a Jewish conservative magazine. It's, about
You mean the
politics
Daily
and
Wire?
stuff. No, it's they're basically it's like think that, but Gen Xers running it and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, they talk about that a lot. One of the people on the podcast is very, very particular about talking about what is it exactly, like, what do you do as a parent that, let's say you can go back to work, but your kids are still out of school.
Right.
If they're not in
that's
school,
a problem, man.
you still have to take care of your kids at some point.
Yeah.
That's a facet of life I think
And
a lot of people
babysitters-
have forgotten.
Yeah. Daycare and babysitters is not cheap, man.
And I hate to give, Elizabeth Warren the slam dunk on that, but what she was talking about with her book, The Two-Parent Trap, is,
the two-parent trap, that's interesting.
the two-parent trap it's about
Having to have
two income trap.
Yeah.
The two income trap.
Having
Sorry.
to have two incomes in your house to support your lifestyle.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Sorry about that. Two income trap. My bad.
It's
Sorry,
definitely a
Elizabeth.
team effort, dude.
But yeah, that's because she was on to something there. That is a
Absolutely.
social reality. And what do you do if your kids, if all of a sudden now they have to be home, but you can't be home? And so I'm really glad to see a lot of stories actually coming out of the COVID where people can stay at home and work. And it's like, I don't want to say not all families are as fortunate as you guys to have a person staying at home all the time, but
Absolutely.
there's 2 families out of 3 here that obviously are, and I don't have kids, so I don't have a dog in this fight. But it's nice to see a lot of people like that making it work somehow.
Yeah.
Has it thrown off when she started staying at home, did it throw off your schedule at all with the way that you operate at home?
Kind of. Yeah. So like, my wife and I.
Yeah, I know it did with me and Jordan. So,
I think it does to everybody.
My wife and I are weird. We like doing chores. That's the weirdest that we fight over doing shit in our house. Like, strangely.
busy.
It's weird. Like, hey, I got the chores. Like, I got dinner. Like, hey, I get to mow the lawn. And like, we go head to head with that kind of stuff. And that's about it. Like, so when my wife wasn't there, I would wake up in the morning. I'd take her the girls. I'd do the laundry. I'd prep their breakfast. I'd do A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
What time are you getting up?
5 a.m. sometimes.
Healthy.
Like 5 a.m., like 6 a.m., so I can get up and go work out, get my stuff done, and then make my breakfast, get the girls' breakfast ready, let Olivia go to work, and then, get the day started. And now that she's here, she likes to do B, C, D, E, Q, R, F for me. And it's just like, what are you doing, woman? Like, this is my mission.
This is my shit. What are you doing?
Don't do it. And she's like, no, I want to. And I'm just like, babe, like, just do your work. And she's like,
You're
no.
messing
And I'm
with
like,
my
no,
reality.
like, this is my mission, and you're taking it from me. And it's nice, and it's really cool. That's a silly thing to complain about.
So as a stay-at-home dad, that's essentially you're talking into her kind of cutting into your stay-at-home dad workflow.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
It's not
like
cool.
you're not
Now
necessarily
my numbers are
having
dropping. I can't support these numbers.
Our productivity is lowering
Yeah, right.
by the day.
Yeah, those
But that's-
dishes are doing themselves, and I can't.
I don't even know what's going on.
No, it's great. Yeah, that's the one thing that's different. And then hopefully when college opens up again, I'll be able to go back to school and make some GI Bill money.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
always a thing.
Yeah.
That's very interesting what you said about you and Olivia competing over the chores, because like Jordan and I do it through a very, very different standpoint. It's like we fight over doing chores because we don't want the other person to feel like they've done too much.
Oh,
So it's not like I want to do more. It's okay.
That's what it's like.
Don't even do that, because I will come home and she'll be like, well, you've worked all day, so I don't want you to do more stuff. So it's the exact same
That's my
thing
wife
as
too,
me
yeah.
saying, I've been at work all day and you've been doing home stuff. I don't want you to do more home stuff. That's the exact same thing.
These are good arguments.
The exact same thing, especially if we're talking about a UBI in favor of you staying home. They're the exact
There we
same
go.
thing. So,
Only as long as it doesn't become like a hidden weapon. We're like, well, I already
Right.
took care of that stuff.
Right.
But now, since you are home,
Oh, I do.
more on.
I like to guilt trip my wife sometimes. So like I take out the trash, but she puts the bag back in. You see, and sometimes
Word.
I'll take it out and I'll come back and be like, babe, and I'll like show her the bag, the empty like bucket.
Where's my bag?
And then she'll be like
funny.
sitting there on the TV. She'll like look around like, and she'll like sprint. We'll both sprint to the drawers to get the bag. I'll like tackle her, and then she'll punch me in the face, and then grab the bag, put it in before I do.
She would so do. I can picture that in my mind.
Yeah,
What,
it's pretty
that
epic.
she's just, bam, right hook to the face. John's out cold
I
for
try
about
to put her in
30
an
seconds.
armbar and stuff, and we're wrestling for the it's pretty intense. But that's the silly
really
things
funny.
that we do, and that's those are pretty fun things.
well, and
That's
I
good,
think
know.
that,
So it's nice.
not to give it too dark of a spin, but I do it for a different reason. I think being from like a child of divorce, I'm overly cautious of that type of thing developing.
Oh, word. Yeah.
In which she would feel like she's doing too much and needs to use that as a weapon. You know what I'm saying? Not that that's the type of person that she is, but just, when I think you start to take note of how relationships start to break down.
We guilt trip each other for stupid things, though. That's like for
Right.
silly
No, and
things.
I'm certainly not implying that you guys do it out of
I need an
intention
example.
to make the other one feel bad.
I
But
want an example, like a completely doesn't necessarily have to be real, but on an analogy case,
So, like,
real.
Oh,
situation.
guilt tripper, like, I'll be, like, working, and then I'll be like, hey, babe, can I have, like, cookies? Can you make some cookies? And I'll come in, like, cookies won't be made. And she'll be like, I'll make them tonight. I said, I'll make them tonight. And,
You're
like,
yeah,
I want
just-
cookies right then and now, like, at 6 p.m., not at 8 p.m. And I'll, like, come in, I'll be like, okay,
3
cool.
hours mowing the lawn.
My hands aren't blistered from pressure washing. Like, it's cool, babe. And I don't have cookies in my hand, warm cookies, and I'll, like, it's, like, silly shit like that.
Oh, my God.
And she'll be like, you're such a child. And I'd be like, I'm a child without cookies.
I'm a child without cookies.
Like, that's the kind of shit that, like, happens. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
That's
do
really
that
funny.
shit to Caroline a lot because her COVID schedule is pretty fucked up. It's
Oh, no.
like she gets home around like between 8 and 9 most days. And so she's at the office a lot. And so she gets home and it's generally like the only thing she's doing when she gets home is eating, trying to watch like a half hour plus of like YouTube videos or a show or something like that, and then going to bed because got to get up at 5 o'clock the next day and do the same thing all over again.
Rise and grind.
But she, got the she's technically on a 4-10 schedule, but 4-10s turns to like 4-12, 13 sometimes. And so like I'll get home.
No, we don't
and,
play that.
and for now, like for me, like my job, my career is my industry. is suffering now. Like, we've all kind of caught up. We've been working a lot, I think, since the April-ish, maybe, since the COVID kind of broke out. But we were really, really busy, and now we're not so busy. And so now I'm coming home earlier, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, yesterday, I went out, I mowed the yard, I took the weed eater, and I was like, carving out like the edge of the lawn, because I'm like, I want this shit. I live in a development, baby. I gotta be one of those.
Now that you have the time,
you don't want your HOA fees to go up.
Amen, brother. So I go, okay, all right. So I'm out there for like 3-4 hours, and it's beautiful out, and I'm listening to music. I was listening to fucking Run the Jewels and shit the other day. And I was like, I love all that. And so by the time she gets home last night, it was an extra late night. She got home like 9:15-ish or so. And I had make like we had just had house sitters because we were over in Chelan. So whenever we have a house sitter, we buy a bunch of junk food and shit, put it in the freezer. So I had a Stouffer's lasagna in the freezer. I was like, oh, sweet. I'll come home early. I'm not going to fuck with dinner. I got a Stouffer's lasagna ready to go. And it's like a perfect little 4-portion size.
I got a Stofsky ready.
We're going to transfer it to a plate.
Yeah.
And like,
just eat it off the plate. Yeah.
And so she gets home, and she is fucking exhausted, obviously. Leaves at 6:30, and she's home at 9:30 at night.
Oh,
what the fuck?
Gosh, dude.
And so, like, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's like, she's like, oh, yeah, I just want to, like, relax for a minute. I'll go play with the dogs for a little while. Just relax. I was like, oh, yeah, it's no big deal. I'm not, like, totally starving or anything, because I haven't been home since 2 o'clock, and I haven't mowed the lawn, edged, pulled weeds, taken care of the dogs, blah, blah, blah. I cleaned the entire house. I rearranged furniture. I built this for you, by the way. There it is right there. I changed out this. And she's just like... But I was like, baby, I'm just joking. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. No. I don't mean to actually add on to that. I was just fucking around.
I'll do that with my wife, too.
Sometimes
I'll push it a little too hard.
It's like you do a little too much. You're like, oh, I took that joke a little too far.
Yeah.
But it is nice, though, because then you sit back and after a while of it going on, it seems weird because they're, maybe in some cases, like they're home and working all the time. Mm-hmm. I know that was the case when I was having to work at home in time. The same shit is still happening. You're just actually in your fucking house at that point. And sometimes that makes it an even worse day than others. And so, but I don't know. It's nice to see. I totally forgot where I'm fucking going with this. God damn it.
Nice to see two guys with
working
kids
from
being
home.
such ballers.
Yes. Thank you. That's exactly what I was going. Because even for people like us without kids, I fuck around with that kind of like, be able to like pull one over on the wife, and be like, well, I did this. What have you done today? But if she's out working every day, you know what that's like. I mean, everybody knows what that's like. It's not great.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's easy to get carried away.
Yeah.
Yeah. The most I do with my wife, I'll be like, so you want to, like, after I'm done building something, I'm like, you want to, I think we're all guilty of that.
I'm just saying.
Just ask her, like, hey, I built you this chicken, coop, there's no, that's the only thing I do. I don't,
Did build a chicken coop. That's the thing I built, fences this week.
Yeah. Did you build a fence?
And I bet it was really hot, and you were sweating and you were out there just laboring away.
What was the last thing that you built, Colin?
I want to talk about it.
The couch out there, right?
The garden boxes outside.
Hey.
Before that was the couch.
Well, I expect some pictures of those.
Yeah.
Right? We are at the time where it is time to be done. So
I think we need to be done.
That, Colin is going to post pictures of that on his social media. He is at Big Bird Offie on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Salt of the Street on Twitter and at alpaca_Don on Instagram. You can also see those pictures. We'll repost them on our Salt of the Streets Instagram at Salt of the Streets, our Facebook at Salt of the Streets, YouTube at Salt of the Streets for this video, the pre-show video, all our other videos, Salt of the Streets, saltofthestreets.com for all of this information. John is at John Wheelis on Instagram and Facebook. He's going to be tagged in all these things, so you can try and be his friend if you want. He is very selective. We are extremely high caliber people.
Exactly.
That's all that I have to say.
I feel I have so much privilege right now because I know you. That's right. Yeah.
With that, Colin, after this entire conversation, I would like you to have a kid so that we are all living under the same restrictions.
I will say that if we bought a 318 acre parcel in Chelan County, would you guys all move out with me?
1,000%.
We'll build a giant Earth
All right,
ship.
cool.
Yeah,
It's happening then.